Are we live? Does it live? Welcome everyone to Monsters and Mayhem with this special spooky installment hosted once again by me, Laura, who will be the Dungeon Master tonight, guiding the party through Madame Dorcyne's hollow house. Who is Madame Dorcyne? She's an eager and eccentric socialite who likes to hold elaborate mystery dinners and parties, and tonight is no exception. Our party will be embarking on one of Madame Ivy Dorcyne's murder mystery parties. And will they be able to solve it? Will they be able to find out who done it? Let's find out. Before we begin, just a reminder to follow the Monsters Mayhem Twitch channel, catch up on events like this, more entertainment, and also for our main campaign, which runs every Monday at 7 p.m. AEST, Australian Eastern Standard Time. We don't always dress up like this, but sometimes we do. Secondly, reminder to join our Discord for your chance to be involved in one-shots and adventures like this in the future. We have members from our Discord who join in as guests when we run these sorts of adventures, and also for other content as well, like being able to play games with us. We also run one-shots strictly on the Discord for those of you who don't want to be streamed, share character ideas, content like that. So come and hang out. Join us, will you? Love to see you there. Anyway, let's get started on tonight's episode of Monsters Mayhem, Madame Dorcyne's Hollow House. Welcome, everyone. Here are our players that will be playing with us tonight in tonight's one-shot, Madame Dorcyne's Hollow House. A little bit of a premise about tonight's one-shot. Our party has been invited to a murder mystery hosted by the elite and reclusive socialite, Madame Dorcyne, whom everyone here has a common connection. Whether or not they know each other or know of each other remains to be seen. But let's see what tonight entails. So what we'll do is we'll go around the screen really quickly, not really a room, and we'll do a little bit of an introduction. Just introduce yourself and what character you were playing, and then we'll jump into it. So over here we have Brandon. You want to do a quick intro?
Yeah, my name's Brandon, or online Space Guy 9, and tonight I'm playing Tarathil, a socialite elf that has fallen from grace, is eager to find his way back.
Exciting. Next we have our guest for tonight. Very exciting. Round of applause, everyone. Yay! We have Palm joining us from the Discord, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Palm the Plant, and tonight I will be playing Pitch, a tabaxi wizard.
You can see we are on brand here with our costuming.
Oh yeah, this is actually furry, but it didn't show. But I committed.
We'll take your word for it. We will trust in you that you have a furry.
It's my safety blanket for whatever horror we're going to go into.
Next we have who everyone knows, regular. Over here we have Narukto.
I will be playing Timoti Rockseeker, the half-orc investigator, or as you know in D&D, a fighter.
Some things don't translate. Thank you for that. We also have our wonderful Sharok. Would like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Sharok, and I am going to be playing Erila the Crucible, Thurliel, who is a ASMR paladin. Dun, dun, dun.
And then we have this random person that we also pulled off the street to join us in our game tonight. Can't remember his name, but if you would also like to introduce yourself.
I'm guessing that was him.
No, that's you.
That's you.
Oh. Well, I will be playing the Turtle Brim Oligarch Glamour Bard.
Love it.
You have to speak into my good ear.
Well, with that very professional and very insightful introduction out of the way, let us jump into tonight's game. You move over onto the map. You can see a little bit of what's in front of you. Not really a little bit. I lied. You can see basically nothing of what's in front of you. But you have all received an invitation from the reclusive socialite, Madame Ivy Dorcyne, to join her at her manor, which has been transformed for the occasion. Those of you who have been to this manor before have seen it in many different states and forms over the years in which you visited, but tonight is a little bit different. It looks a little bit mysterious as you roll up. You can see that the facade of the house is dark. There are shadows encroaching from the overgrown lawns, mist rolling in under your feet as you begin to walk through, as your carriage pulls up at the gate to what has now been transformed into Hollow House. As you step out, you feel the bitter wind. You can see the candlelight illuminating some of the windows, casting golden shadows across the lawn as you begin to make your way up. As you approach the large double doors of Hollow House, they yawn open to greet you as you step through. As you step forward, you are greeted by a man clad in delicate velvet robes as he steps forward and holds out his hand for your invitation. I'm assuming everyone here will hand over their copy of the invitation.
No.
Yeah. Indeed.
Hands it over. He looks down, adjusts some spectacles over his eyes, and goes, Madame Dorcyne, I would like to present to you Terothel. And Brandon, if you would like to step forward and describe your character as you enter the room.
Tarathil steps forward very gracefully, and he's very tall, as most elves are. He has very dark, very clear skin, lots of golden adornments along his ears and along his hair. He has gold nails with a big purple ring, and he is dressed in these sort of just mixture of robes and a little bit of leather armor across the front of his person, with nice green sharp eyes and a very, very sharp expression. He is almost emotionless and says, "Good evening," as he enters the room.
The man clad in velvet robes nods towards you and gestures you into the entryway, where you can see a lot of other people are starting to mill around this grand entryway. Again, someone else steps forward and hands their invitation over. He looks down and reads the paper. Madame Dorcyne, may I present to you Erila? And Shrock, if you would like to step forward and describe your character.
Absolutely. To clarify as well, would we be in our more adventurous gear or more casual gear in this type of a scenario?
I would leave that up to you to determine. How do you think you would actually approach a soiree, I guess?
Yeah, all right. Erila being the type that she is, a very tall woman of pale skin, blonde hair that looks constantly sort of oily, slicked back. You see these almost mossy growths along the edges of parts of her skin and all over her very unkept armor. She is completely clad in what looks to be some sort of heavy armor with drapes of greenish sort of fabric sticking out. And the most eye-catching part of her is her eyes are like that of a white rat, a red type all over. And she steps forward, says nothing, simply hands her invitation and wanders in, constantly looking around.
As you step forward, you can see some of the people kind of turn to look towards you and then turn away and begin kind of muttering and whispering amongst themselves at your appearance. The next person steps forward and hands her invitation across, and he looks down at it, adjusts his glasses again after a few moments, clears his throat. Madame Ivy Dorcyne, I would like to present to you Pitch. Hands your invitation back. You'd like to step forward and describe your character.
So Pitch is a black tabaxi with this beautiful fur that, if you look at it in certain lights, it actually changes iridescence in different colors. It's got this kind of tricolor effect to it. She walks forward and she's wearing a sensible 3/4 capri pant with a vest, and it's nice, simple, elegant, but it's nothing overdressed. And she hands over the parchment, gives a very familiar nod, and then gives a very familiar nod, and then walks through.
Through, you can see some of the gleams of recognition on people's faces as you step forward, and they kind of turn towards you and gesture you further into the room.
And I probably go, "Oh, darling," and I walk onto one person and just mingle.
Right at home.
Mm.
So as the next person steps forward, hands their parchment across, he looks down and then looks back up another time and then looks back down to the parchment. Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome you back to the manor. Madame Dorcyne, may I present to you Brim?
Oh yes, that's me. That's me. You see this turtle dressed in way too much different clothes, way too colorful. Purples, greens, reds, yellows. Yeah, you name it. He'll go over and he'll be like, "Oh, yes, I've been expecting this." He'll be pulling out his invitation, but it's a sock with a little bit of pocket lint instead. And he'll go into the other pocket and he'll pull out the invitation and give it to the man.
See, a kind of hush falls over the room as people turn to look towards you. Kind of this air of authority that you have when you step into the room as people kind of step away and look towards you and then turn back and begin whispering amongst themselves kind of behind their hands.
Oh, yes. I'll walk in.
And then as the last person approaches, takes your parchment and looks at it. Welcome. Madame Ivy Dorcyne, may I present to you Timothy?
Timothy will just take one last puff of her cigarette before stomping it out on the ground, nod towards Lady Dorcyne, and then just quietly walk in and find a corner of the room to survey the area.
So as you enter this room, you see a room that is fit for a party that is thrown by one Madame Ivy Dorcyne. The walls stretch upwards by 50 feet and are adorned in reliefs of floral patterns engraved meticulously into deep stonework. Along these walls, 30-foot tapestries hang, and these tapestries are woven intricately to depict visages of kings and queens and landscapes. Bouquets of lavish flowers sit on every available surface, ranging from wildflowers to flawless roses, all held in pristine crystal vases and filling the room with a heady, heavenly scent. The floor is polished stone, broken up by tufted and heavy rugs, gilded with golden threads that seem to shimmer as weight is pressed upon them. In the center of this room is a large double staircase that crescendos upwards to levels above, adorned with deep red carpet from bottom to top, which snakes down to meet the foot of the stairs. At the base of this staircase, nestled in a little relief, is a large pipe organ with bronze pipes standing proudly from the instruments, kind of inviting music. And I will just reveal this area to you on the map so that you can see and place yourself in where you think you would be standing in this room. So as you step forward, you can see there are a number of people in this room, some of which you recognize and some you don't. There is a stout halfling man with deep skin, a round face with bald and kind of a receding hairline and large glasses. You can see he's got a little notebook tucked into his top pocket, and he kind of pulls it out and flips through the pages a couple times before kind of reading something and tucking it back away. There is a small dwarven woman with a long brown beard that's kind of plaited down the front, and in it you can see intricately woven ribbons and different bits of jewelry and things like that. Beside her, talking in hushed voices, is a large kind of copper-skinned, very tall elf. He's kind of looking down towards her and kind of guiding a little bit of a conversation, keeping her away from everyone else, it seems. And then, of course, in the center of the room, welcoming you into the fray, is a slender, graceful, golden-haired elven woman. And everyone here would recognize who this is. This is Madame Dorcyne. She is graceful as she steps towards you, and the carpet kind of moves as she walks. You can see it kind of looks like wind is underneath her as she steps forward with a soft smile. Well, I think that is everyone. It is so amazing to have you all here, welcoming you into my home. I hope that your journey has all been, well, nice. Looks around to everyone expectantly and gestures over to her left as another elven woman steps forward and takes her hand. And she doesn't look as comfortable in this room, and a lot of you would recognize who this woman is as well. This is Madame Dorcyne's wife, Yvette Dorcyne. New acquisition to the family, if it could be said like that. She kind of steps forward a little bit behind Madame Dorcyne as well, kind of hiding almost a little bit. She looks over towards everyone as Madame Dorcyne gestures to the wider room as a few people start filtering in, one from a door on the left and two kind of coming down from behind where that staircase is from a door up towards the north of the room. Well, I will allow you all a few minutes to mingle. If you would like, I will go and check on the dinner. And then once the dinner is served, we can start talking about what we have in store for tonight. And I promise you all it will be such a night to remember. You know me, I'm never one to stray too far from parties like this. And not very often that I get to have so many lovely people in my home. So please feel free to mingle. There are some refreshments over here on the table. And she gestures towards a table, which is laden with goblets and different glasses filled with different sorts of, well, you can imagine the type of wine that she would be serving. And she bows, takes her wife's hand, kind of waves to everyone as she disappears through a doorway on the left-hand side.
Cool. Just a question. Is there anyone on the map right now that we're supposed to see?
No.
Okay.
Imagination.
Just checking. Cool. Just checking.
Imagination.
Well, everyone, I think it's going to be an unforgettable evening. That is what my mind tells me.
Right.
You go.
Nope. Well, you. All right. Erila is going to just very slowly mosey through the room and just pinpoint everyone, figure out who's who best she can. And she's going to go and sort of stand near the door where Madame Dorcyne left, and sort of, if people walk up, she'll happily chat, but otherwise going to stay mostly to herself. Which I imagine would be this door here, right?
No, so it is over. Whoops, if I can get the right thing. This door here.
Sweet. Okay, easy.
Where I am.
Stand opposite the door to you.
How curious.
Tarathil might fetch himself a glass of wine and then proceed to approach Brim and just sort of swirl his wine a little and say to Brim, Brim,
Yeah.
good to see you again.
You too, of course. I enjoy our conversations.
Have you thought about much about what you have said to me since last we spoke?
Yeah, which part in particular are you thinking of? I'd say so many things.
It's not important. It's good to see you.
I mean, we can draw a card on it if you want.
What did you have in mind?
Well, I'll pull out a little tarot card pile, draw a card, and we can see what the outcome will be.
Okay. Do you want me to pick a number between 1 and 20, Tom?
Nope. Just
Okay.
tell me if you take a card or not.
Okay, I shall take a card.
All right, let me see. The Magician. Interesting choice. You are going to have an extraordinary evening tonight. It's going to set your world on fire. Maybe literally.
Tarathil maintains a stern expression and sort of takes in the card and then looks up at him without looking up too far. That doesn't bode well.
Oh, it could mean many things. Fire can come from inside too.
Well, I think I would probably have had enough of your sayings, I suppose. That's perhaps I best I avoid you tonight. Last time wasn't so fruitful for me either, was it?
Well, you can always draw another card later when you're feeling up for it.
Yes, we'll see, old man. And I will wander away.
That's the moment where Pitch walks up to Brim and she goes, "Scaring the masses again, dear."
Yes, I am just entertaining the individuals here who's waiting for the grand spectacle, of course. Looking forward to dinner. How have you been? It's been a little bit since I've seen you.
Yeah, but busy. The glyph work has been just coming out of my ears lately. How have you been?
Well, I've been good. I found this good Jamaican rum that's entertained me for a long time, and I would love to share some with you at some point if you would be up for it.
You know I have time for you, dear.
Of course, I'm so happy to hear it. It'll be an interesting evening, I'm sure.
I'm sure the cards have told me so too.
Well, if you want to, I have multiple cards with me tonight, but let's save that one for an opportune moment.
Of course, dear. And she walks off and goes to mingle again.
I'll just stay in the middle.
And if you're standing in the middle as well, Brim, many people come up to you and you get a sense as they're talking to you. There's one particular woman who does approach you. She's wearing a purple and gold sari kind of draped over her shoulder, really long dark hair kind of falling in waterfalls down her back and her sides. And she walks up towards you. Well, Brim, it is wonderful to see you. I was hoping if maybe you had a little word of advice for me for this evening.
Of course. Don't worry, Pranita. I can probably help you out with that. Would you want to draw a card as well?
I was hoping for something a little more personal.
Oh, I'm sure that we can work that out. Is there a specific question that you have in mind that you want an answer to with mine?
I thought you'd know that.
There are many things in your mind that are struggling to come out. So it's a little clouded in there, I think.
Wise words as always, Brim.
Of course.
Even that helped tremendously. Thank you.
Of course.
And she steps away and she goes and stands next to a very tall gentleman, maybe half elf, very tall, kind of long dark hair that kind of comes forward in a widow's peak as he's standing there with the glass of like really deep red color kind of just swirling as he kind of looks over towards you all. Does a little up and down for everyone before turning back to Pranjita and indulges in more conversation.
So Timoti would like is Yvette still in the room?
No, Yvette has gone with Madame Dorcyne.
Okay.
But you get the sense that you're kind of free to wander if you didn't want to stay in this room. Like you are free to kind of wander if you wanted to.
I would like to just basically look around the room and see if there's any people of interest, like people that seem more interesting than others.
Mm-hmm. Feel free to roll an insight check for me.
Insight 10.
10. You do know that the man that the dwarven woman is standing with is Elias Farwin. So Elias Farwin is very well known in these parts as having a finger in many pies. He is the person to know. He's kind of a little bit like standing away to the side and kind of not wanting to draw too much attention to himself. But he is kind of probably out of everyone in the room the most influential, aside from Brim.
Well, it's up for debate.
I would like to approach Elias and just nod my head before saying, "Hello, Elias. Long time no see."
And I didn't realize you'd been invited.
Yes, it's quite shocking. You'd think, hey. Tell me, Elias. We seem to have lost communication along the way. Is there any particular reasons why?
Oh, dastardly busy lately. Managing all of my father's exports has been tiring. And it's, it is unfortunate, but, these things happen, especially in business. It's not personal.
Of course it's not personal. Of course it's not. I'd like to insight that.
Roll an insight check.
8.
8. You get the sense that he is a very busy person. Someone of his status would, of course, be very busy and being pulled in all manner of directions, especially with what's currently being set up for him. But there is a glimmer of, maybe there's something else that it's not telling you.
Of course, Elias, I can understand. Business is booming, isn't it, these days?
Well, we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes. Have you had any contact with the Lady Dorcyne recently?
Yes, of course. I mean, we are here tonight, and we had a marvelous conversation about exports not that long ago. But before you got here, of course. I've been here for a few days now. She invited me to stay for the entire week. So we've had many a chance to catch up between now and then.
Of course. If you'll excuse me, and I'm just gonna walk away and go back to my corner and observe the party.
So if there's nothing else that anyone else wants to do during this time, we will do a little bit of a time jump for probably about half an hour. And you hear this melodic chime echoing through the room. And as it comes to an end, the door over on the left-hand side of the room opens. And Madame Dorcyne steps through, kind of pokes her head around the corner. Everyone, if you'd like to come through, dinner, it has been served. So please, come through. And she leads you all over to this room over here, which I will reveal on the map.
While walking through, the pitch is going to kind of weave her way to Elias's arm, and kind of grab and go, Elias, dear, haven't seen you. I saw you around, but just haven't had any time to really catch up. Have you been well?
Oh, it has been awfully busy, but business is booming. There may be some conversations that we can have a little bit later about, some potential collaborations.
I do enjoy a conversation, dear.
There's a particularly interesting vein that we found recently digging in the mines that might be of interest to you. I might have to get a few samples sent your way.
Yes, please. Are you sitting anywhere? Where are you sitting here?
Well, I don't even know if it's assigned seating. Maybe with my back towards the fire to keep it warm.
That sounds great.
Come, feel free. Loreda will be sitting with us. You'll feel free to join us down this end of the table.
Oh, I'd be delighted to. Thank you.
And he'll come down. I can't remember how you ping the map.
Hold down.
There we go.
Click.
Yeah. So he'll sit kind of in this area.
Right.
Erila is also gonna be the last one in the room. She's standing by the door, but literally as everyone's passing, she's just gonna do a little hellos, howdies, greetings. Yes. Hello.
The
Come.
looks that you receive as people kind of pass by, you are not a stranger to these kinds of looks, but it's, they're kind of like,
Yeah.
it kind of was almost like you've jumped, they're not expecting to see you there, almost as if they thought you were like some sort of like live art or something that Madame Dorcyne had commissioned, and they kind of walk past like, oh, sure.
Oh, these
Oh.
automatrons are so lifelike these days.
If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. But once everyone's in, I'm just going to take one last look around the room and then make our way in.
So in this room, the long dining table stretches the entire length of the room, adorned with fine silver and crystal ware. Hanging low from the ceiling are 2 elegant chandeliers, which illuminate the room in a soft, kind of romantic rose gold glow. There are 16 chairs seated around the room, with large, warm fireplaces. Fills the room with warmth and kind of that crackling energy. Upon the wall behind each of the chairs at either end of the table are 2 mounted deer heads preserved in perfect detail. Between the windows sit portraits of both Madame Dorcyne and her wife Yvette in finite detail. Their reflections can be seen echoed in the perfectly polished mahogany floorboards of this room. The food on this table ranges from succulent meats, perfectly seasoned vegetables, pastries, desserts, and a multitude of different spirits and wines. And Madame Dorcyne sits at the top chair, and Yvette takes her place at the chair down the bottom of the room. And you can kind of see Yvette and Madame Dorcyne looking at each other kind of for a couple of minutes as everyone filters in place, and you can take your seats where you'd like to in the room.
I will probably try to sit there, if possible.
Similarly to Brim, I'd like to try and sit at the head of the table, even rudely pushing past others to ensure that.
Erla is going to go right smack in the middle. Yeah. Just looking aside at the people.
Timothy's going to wait till everyone else is seated, so he'll probably have the seat at the end.
Yeah. So around this table, there are figures that some of you recognize, some of you don't. There's the kind of copper-skinned elf Elias. There's the stout halfling, kind of dark-skinned man, Gus Tiller. You have the dwarven woman who sits next to Elias, who is Lameda. Strangely enough, there is also what seems to be a small gnomish woman with grey skin who don't really, she's kind of being very mousy, very quiet. She'll probably be sitting down here next to Yvette. There's also the elegant woman with the purple sari, Pranjita, sitting at this table. An elderly woman who some of you know as Utaz Vilmia. And then the kind of half-elven, maybe not half-elven, tall, lengthy man who some of you may know as Edo Kloss. So all sitting around this table as Madame Dorcyne stands up and tinks a spoon against the elegant crystalware that she has in her hand. I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. It has been marvelous to see so many of your faces. Some of you, it's been far too long, and I do apologize for that. But hopefully tonight we will be able to join together in the festivities of, Hallows Eve. And some of you know it's my most favorite event out of the whole year. It even beats out the Christmas parties that I'm known for throwing. A little chuckle that goes around the room, kind of the polite laughter.
Yes.
So, everyone, please feel free to dig in, and then as we finish dinner, we will begin the game. And as you know, tonight will be a murder mystery party, which is very exciting. And so, someone in this room is going to be murdered. So that's very exciting. And it'll be up to you to discover who it is, who was the culprit. So everyone, you will be in groups, just so you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you will be together. And she points towards each of you. And then she points out to the other people. 1, 2, 3. And you will all be together. Utaz, you can come with me if you don't want to go with anyone else. Utaz, it can be a little bit hard to understand. So you can come with myself and Yvette if you'd like. But everyone, dig in and enjoy. And then someone will be murdered, and you have to figure out who it is, which is very exciting. So please, feel free to dig in.
Thank
And then
you.
as she sits down, the candles and the fire, the light grows in the room, and kind of all the shadows in the room are dissipated as it's just bright light. And then this beautiful kind of soft, tranquil music starts emanating from somewhere in the room. As he will begin eating, and you can hear the clinks of knives and forks and kind of gentle murmurs of conversations happening around you.
As soon as Madame Dorcyne finishes, Erla sort of turns and looks to the person to her right, and she just goes, "I think it will be you." And just smiles.
Since no one here is sitting at that end, I'm just going to roll quickly.
Yeah.
So Gus kind of looks up at you, kind of startled a little bit, and like adjusts his glasses and goes, what, I'm sorry, what's going to be? Oh, the murder, right, of course. Oh,
Yes.
That would be interesting if we didn't even know we were going to be murdered. Oh, that would be a great plot twist. And he kind of like pulls out his notebook and like starts scribbling. As he's like got a bit of turkey leg in his hand, and he just kind of rips it and then just starts like writing down in his little notebook.
Right. You're the one who owns the press, of course. Don't like journalists, so fingers crossed.
Well, that's all right. No one has to like us as long as I buy the papers.
Fair.
Tarathil, while eating his food, might sort of start to scope out the table, looking down as he's eating his food. He knows Brim's sitting across from him, but for the most part, unless approached by Brim, he's not going to address you too much, Brim. He tries to lean around to the person on his left. I imagine there is a person between Pitch and I. And just,
There's two.
There's two?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So Pitch is sitting next to Elias, and next to you have Lameda, who is the dwarven woman.
Great. I would like to try to talk to Lameda, if I can. Just say, would I know Lameda by name?
Is it in your dossier?
Oh, that's a good question. It doesn't specifically say that I do know her by name.
Have a look.
I think if you have the name in the dossier, it means that you kind of...
I would kind of know them? Okay, all right.
Yep.
If Laura's okay with that, I will... Yeah, okay, so... Lameda, it's very good to see that the stakeholder Wraith here is here tonight.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Yes, you make quite great metal, I hear.
Well, we don't make it, we mine it.
Of course, a slip of the tongue. Yes, why did you come tonight? Out of curiosity. It's quite a upscale soiree.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing. Of course, Wraith here. The finest metals mined in all of the kingdom. I just, why you?
And then Pitch goes, Lameda, darling, those are beautiful jewelry Scots running in your hair. Did you make them?
No, I didn't make them. That would be rather hard. We leave the kind of making of those things to you.
No, I'm sure you have some craftsmanship in your blood. You've got those minds. How are you going with business over there?
Oh, it's amazing. And you can tell that she kind of leans into this conversation and kind of turns away from you down at the end of the table. There's kind of like this like relief on her face as she kind of like turns towards to Elias and Pitch and starts talking about imports and exports, and Elias chimes in talking about how his father's taking over some of the supply lines and all of that kind of conversation. And you
I start mentioning components and how hard they can come about, and it's really hard to find some really reliable wholesaler kind of approaches towards getting components. On a mass scale, I'm trying to up my business. I just don't know how to help.
And Elias kind of leans into the whole, well, as I mentioned, there are a few particular veins that might take your interest once we've got Lameda's father into the mining of them. Definitely look
Oh,
into
let me
his
see.
moon sports.
Let me know what I can do in terms of magical components or tasks or anything like that. I'm sure I can think of something to help.
Oh, absolutely. And kind
I'll
of
push.
continues that conversation.
I'll push another tarot card over the table to Taradil.
Tarathiel sort of rolls his tongue around in his mouth a little and looks over to you, Brim, and takes another sip of his wine and sort of gives you a look of the eyes. Another tarot card.
Yes, this one's going to be how your evening is going to presume.
Well, I think those with two eyes can see how it's going. Oh, what the heck! And I'll pick up the tarot card and have
It's
a look.
death. I picked it random.
Tarathiel again looks like he's stifling just like an almost subtle rage and just pushes the card and shoves it back over to Brim. Why do you even have these, Brim? What point do they serve other than to forecast the misery of others?
Exactly, to forecast the misery of others.
Yes, okay. Well, you've been wonderful. Thank you, Brim. Thank you so much for coming.
Did you see I did that, Madame Dorcyne? That was perfect, wasn't it? For a murder mystery. You get death.
Oh, Brim, that is very exciting. This is why I like to invite you places. It's very exciting to see the kind of mischief that you can, and of course everyone here is absolutely infatuated with you. And then she kind of looks over towards Tarathiel and kind of holds out her hand and just like places it on your arm. Just goes. Sometimes people need a little while to cool off.
Right. Oh, he's charming. Don't mind my meaning. Of course, I love having Brim. He's quite charming and very entertaining. Aren't you, Brim? You're very very funny for a turtle man.
I believe.
Lady Dorcyne, I haven't had a chance to say, but I just wanted to say, thank you so much for having me back after so many years.
Of course. This was very unfortunate what happened, but let it now be water under the bridge, and we can try to move past this and make amends moving forward. And perhaps if you play your, and she kind of looks towards Brim, cards right tonight, we can expect you here on many more occasions. And trust me, once you start attending more of these, people will become more warm and open towards you. So just hang in there.
Of course. Thank you, Madame Dorcyne. I look forward to it. It will be quite a grand event in the future, and all those involved, I'm sure. I just take
I
a
hope
big
people
sip of wine after that.
Hopefully people will talk about this until our next party next year. And everyone kind of like looks towards her and raises their glasses and continues eating at the table.
I'm sure they will.
Is Yvette sitting next to me?
Yes.
I would like to turn to her and just go, Yvette, how have you been?
Yeah.
Look, I just want to say it's been a while since things happened, and I've had time to reflect on my actions. And I just wanted to apologize for the situation that unfolded because of them. And I just hope that being invited here tonight is perhaps the first step in perhaps making amends.
Well, I really do appreciate you saying that, which is quite big of you. It was not my choice. Half of the invitees tonight were up to my wife, but who am I if I don't bow to the most beautiful woman in the kingdom? So.
Yes, you've done well for yourself, Yvette. I'm once again sorry that I doubted you.
Well, hopefully tonight will join us all. That is what my wife's plan is, anyway, to forge connections where they were once lost. So hopefully she can achieve her goal and I'll walk away happier. I do hope you enjoy the pheasant. We raised it ourselves.
Oh, did you know? It is quite lovely. Takes a bite.
Continues eating. And then she kind of like turns away and starts talking to like Pranjita, who's sitting on her right. Start having a conversation a little bit more lively.
As she turns away, I take the pheasant out and drop it on the floor.
She does not notice. So while the conversation is humming in the room, and the food is being eaten, and it starts getting a little bit quieter in the room as the crackling of the fireplace seems to get a little bit louder. And as that happens, almost instinctively, people start looking towards Madame Dorcyne. And as they do, she kind of goes, that's my cue. And she stands up and goes, well, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed the marvelous dinner. Don't worry, there will be leftovers if you get a little bit hungry later on. You can always find these leftovers. They're just here in the butler's pantry just behind me. But I think that it is time. It's getting a little bit late. It is time for us to begin tonight's festivities. Someone in this room is going to be murdered. And we...
Straight at Tarot Hill.
And we have to figure out who's the culprit is. Of course, I know who it is, but you have to figure out who it's going to be. So, without further ado, let's begin. And she claps her hands, and as that does, a magical darkness falls over the room. And while, everything goes dark, the candles are extinguished, the fireplace is extinguished, and you can't even see your hand in front of you. It's like a magical darkness that just permeates the room. And as you're sitting there, kind of trying to get, your bearings a little bit, you can hear scuffling in the room somewhere. The sound of a table being bumped, and you can kind of feel it jolt in front of you. There's a sound of a couple of chairs being knocked over, and you can hear some struggling, and then what sounds like a thud on the floor.
How exciting.
Followed by another thud on the floor straight after. And then as that happens, the lights slowly come back on, and you can see the table, kind of some glasses have been knocked over, it's kind of pushed a little bit to the side, and lying over here on the floor are two bodies. The first body is that of the velvet-clad butler who welcomed you into the room, with blood kind of all over the side of his head, and kind of his lying there. And then next to him, you see the body of Madame Ivy Dorcyne laying there on the floor behind the chair. You can see that she has what looks like a wound directly across her neck. There's blood spilling out of it still as she's lying there. You can see kind of twitching before she goes limp. And then blood just pooling down the front of her dress. And then in a split second between kind of everyone turning and looking, you just hear a scream from the other end of the table as Yvette stands up and begins running down the length of the table and collapses next to where her wife is laying still on the floor and starts pressing her hand over the wound on her neck. And you can see that as she's holding her hand over the the wound on Ivy's neck, it's pulsing with like this magic, this like magical light as it's just pulsing there. It's not working. It's not What's everyone doing just standing there? This wasn't supposed to happen.
I'll run over and try healing word.
Errol is up as well, pumping some of her... what is it called? Lay of hands?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lay on hands.
A card floats up above pitch, a glowing floating card, and starts just orbiting around the chandelier.
This wasn't supposed to happen. Gerald, get up! You can see the butler kind of like opens his eyes a little bit and, got his hand on his head. He hands his forward and goes, "What's oh my God!" He starts standing up. As you cast your lay on hands and your healing word, they both have no effect. Madame Ivy Dorcyne's body is beyond healing at this point.
Oh no.
Tarathill might stand and like gently lay down the wine glass, and he's still processing what's happening. This isn't a joke?
Of course it's not a joke. This wasn't supposed to happen. Gerald, quickly, go and fetch someone or something. You can see he's kind of standing there. The butler kind of stands up, and you can see the blood has kind of dried on his velvet robes as he's kind of standing up a little bit. He goes, Who am I supposed to call? And Yvette is just like sobbing over the body of her wife, just holding, like blood is like pooling down, still pooling from Madame Dorcyne's body on the floor. It's becoming slick and wet underneath her. And Yvette just kind of whips her head around and looks at everyone in the room. Just goes, "Everyone get out. I don't want anyone in here. Everyone get out of the room."
Hurla stands and starts almost making a wall of sorts to basically push people the opposite direction and out.
I will hurry out as well.
Tarathill... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm coming out, but as I'm going out, I'm looking around quickly to see if anyone has like a hidden blade or anything on their person.
Mm-hmm. Make a quick perception check for me.
Oh, why my rolls suck? 10.
Everyone, like a lot of people are wearing a lot of clothes. Like they're wearing like jackets over their, clothing, or like robes, or everything's kind of like drapery. It's really hard to tell if anyone's sort of concealing anything just by glancing at them.
Mm-hmm.
You would notice a massive war pick hanging at Errol's side, though. Not hiding that.
I mean, I have a war axe on my back, so.
Did it seem like the wound was even from a weapon? Did it seem like it could potentially have been magic?
Make a medicine check with disadvantage for me, because you didn't actually investigate the body. You just kind of, were
I'm
looking
using
at it.
my psychic power.
Does your relative start with an A,
That's
a B, a C?
Double 9 plus, what do I have? Oh, shit. Okay, I'm pretty good at that. 14.
Level 10.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So it's hard to tell, but it looks like, it's hard because magic can make wounds look like they were done, like if you did like slashing damage with like cloud of daggers or something like that as an example, it appears as a melee weapon wound. So I'd say yes and no.
Okay.
I know it's not a very helpful answer, but
it wasn't like a stab wound that looked like a knife. It was more like a cut.
yes, pitch.
So can I kind of retcon? I would have flashed with my boon, so I would have seen what's going magically what's going on.
Yep.
I don't mind about not people knowing that happened. And then as I walked out, Carter's still up in the kind of like hiding the lights while I walk out, and I'm also going to, while shuffling, flick that to detect thoughts.
Okay. So in the room, that's detect magic, right?
I went to detect magic first, yeah.
Yeah. So this room, it's really hard to tell because nearly everything in the room is magical. From the fireplace to the crystalware to the like tables and chairs, you can kind of get a sense that everything in this room is enchanted in a sense of like what's the spell? Like what's the thing I'm looking for? It's kind of like transmutation, I guess. It's kind of like self-cleaning type of, like, you would be familiar with that kind of magic. Things like stop things tarnishing, stop things decaying, stuff like that.
Basic maintenance spells. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the light in the fireplace is like a never extinguished light. Like everything in this in the room, and even as you step forward into the entryway, everything has a sort of like shimmery gleam over it. Nothing stands out to you as unusual or kind of malignant. There's nothing kind of in that sense. There's no like necromantic energy or anything like that coming from anywhere.
Yeah. Awesome.
Detect thoughts at a very surface level in this room. Can you just make a general perception check for me, just see kind
I
of,
certainly can.
because there would be a lot of humming with the proximity that everyone's in.
Yeah, that was pitch shooting at the hip with that spell.
Yep.
So that was, I'm doing wisdom, right?
Yep. So just perception.
Oh,
yes,
perception.
That's wisdom.
That makes more sense. So that's 19 total.
19. So there is a general thrum of kind of chaotic thoughts. Thoughts are kind of bouncing very rapidly. You get the sense some people are like, oh my God, what just happened? Like, is she actually dead? Like, you know, what was Ivy, like what was she doing? What was she talking about? Who was supposed to be, was the butler supposed to be dead? And then you also get a sense of like, oh yeah, this is really cool. This makes things a lot more interesting. You know, this is what's supposed to be happening. So we're supposed to solve the mystery of Madame Dorcyne dying. There's kind of a lot of different thoughts kind of ping-ponging around the room, but nothing that would be incriminating.
Yeah, I was going to say I would be filtering through those and trying to figure out if there was anything that's out of those two colors.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Because what radius is it? 30 feet? 60 feet?
Detect thoughts? Yeah,
yes.
I think it's 30, 60. 1 sec. I'll just check with the range. Bear with. It says any one creature I can see within 30 feet of me.
Yeah.
So that's also, I think, limited within the room as well for whatever anyone I can see.
I think it's like it can't pass through like stone. I think it's that sort of same, like can't pass through like a foot of stone or like a sheet of lead. Yeah, cool.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So as people are kind of moving into the entryway as well, everyone starts moving. So everyone filters out except for Yvette and the butler, Gerald. And everyone just starts standing around. And Gus kind of pulls out his notebook, the stout halfling man, starts flipping through and goes, oh, this is very interesting. This is very, very interesting. This was supposed to happen? I think this is... she is known for her flair for the dramatic. Starts like writing down a piece of paper. You guys, you're with me on my team. So we can start. And he kind of looks up and people are just looking at him just like, what are you doing? Is there anything else that anyone wants to do now?
Tarathil might look to Gus and goes, I think Madame Dorcyne's just been murdered, you parasite. You couldn't wait 5 minutes before turning this into a game.
Well,
darling, this literally was a game.
The whole reason we're here is to solve the mystery. And that's what it sounds like is happening.
Don't worry, Gus always jumps on the opportunity to report the worst news possible.
Oh, that's what the readers love.
Yes, well...
Happiness doesn't sell.
Oh, that's right up your alley there, Timothy. Well, I guess we should get guessing, shouldn't we?
'Tis the aim of the game, after all.
Are we still playing the game?
Well, that's what I'm wondering as well. I feel as though this isn't a game. Someone's just been murdered. For real.
I suppose at this point it ceases to be a game and more like a actuality.
Well, hang on a second. You've all been invited for an evening in which you were told there would be a murder mystery. Did you not know someone was going to be murdered?
I suspect that you might not understand the gravity here, Asimar.
Oh, I think I understand it better than most.
Someone has actually been murdered. These little soirees of the rich and the wealthy, it's just a fun little game, and mostly it's just politics and drinking, but a great woman she's been slain.
Yes, as per the rules of the game. One must die, the others must solve the mystery. I was ready to die tonight, weren't you?
Tarathil stares at the Asama with a grave look, and he almost shakes in his skin before looking around. I am not ready to die, and I doubt a lot of you are as well.
Well, we don't have to die. We just have to solve the mystery, right?
Precisely. The murder part of the game is already done. Now, I think we should all lay our weapons forth.
Weapons?
I'll start. She throws down her war pick on the ground and then reaches down the back of her armor and pulls out a set of javelins that are like tucked away in a little outcrop from the armor and lays them on the ground.
There's kind of like a murmur in the room as some of the other people kind of look towards you and go, I didn't bring any weapons with me. Did you bring it? No, I didn't bring any weapons. Oh. And then Gus kind of like pulls out like a couple of like really sharp pencils. It's like just puts them onto the floor kind of with your weapons.
Well, I only have this, and I'll put down a flute. I don't really use weapons. I use my keen senses.
Weapon of the mind.
Indeed.
Well, I mean, I have my cards, but I'm not giving away my cards.
All right.
I'm just going to reach back, put my battle axe on the ground, reach inside, pull out my crossbow, put that on the ground, reach down my pants, pull out my great sword and put that on the ground.
Don't you cut yourself when you put it in your pants like that?
I walk with a stiff leg.
That
makes it look like I'm limping.
Tarathil looks around at you all and scoffs. I think you're all fools to trust this creature's benevolence. Clearly, he might very well be on what is occurring here. I'm not disarming myself with a killer on the loose. An actual killer.
We didn't say anything about disarming, young one.
Simply lay your weapons down to see if they are dirty. Well, clean of blood at least. Mine are never quite clean.
Oh, is that your problem? Well, your logic there is flawed, Asimar.
Oh.
Observe, and I'm going to just get my battle axe, cut my hand on it, show blood, and then cast Prestidigitation.
So we know you're capable of cleaning your weapons then. Good to know.
But there may be others.
Suspicious. I'm more suspicious that Terranhill here doesn't want to let us know what he's hiding.
Ah, yes. Brim, I knew you were going to bring some sort of misery to this event. It was your forecasting again, like last time.
Darling, stop being the victim and show your weapons.
So as you're talking, the door opens to the entryway, and the velvet-robed clad butler kind of steps forwards. Everyone, I must ask you to proceed up to your rooms. Upstairs, I can show you the way. We will be calling some sort of authorities to get here, but we're not sure how quickly they will be able to arrive. And he kind of wipes his face and kind of wipes the blood off of his face. And at this point, you can't really tell if it's the blood from Ivy or if it's the blood that he had on himself originally. It's kind of smeared all over him. And he kind of gestures to the staircase. Need everyone to stay in their rooms until we can get some people here to figure out what happened.
So, excuse me for asking, but Were you supposed to be the one that died?
That was the plan. Butler murdered in the dining room. It's all part of the story.
Well, I know a lot of these stories. I do read from time to time, and usually it's always the butler's fault.
Well, that was actually one of the reasons that the madame wanted me to be the one dead.
So she's actually dead. This is no joke.
This is no joke, sir.
Right. How about I just go home then?
I'm afraid I cannot ask you. I cannot let you leave at this point until we can get authorities here to figure out what actually happened. I must ask you to please proceed upstairs to your assigned rooms.
Interesting.
Hold on. Who here tried to heal her?
I did.
And I.
Did I see anything happening from the wound, or was that too overwhelming at the time?
It all happened really quick, like in a matter of maybe 10 seconds. Like
Good.
the whole thing happened.
Good.
Definitely saw some magic being cast,
Yeah.
but kind of.
Not a problem. Yeah. So, but you're saying that the healing didn't work. Is that something that you anticipate normally?
Depends. Sometimes things happen that can cause a disruption in the use of magic. I'm not quite sure. I just thought it was because it was just makeup. But it seems like it was not so.
Before we're guided upstairs to our rooms, I would like Tarathil to stiffly wander over to Tomodi Rockseeker and stand by him, looking around, and then leaning over to Moti. It seems like you might have the most sense out of this group of bumbling idiots. I suppose I might be relying on you to, clearly you understand we're in danger here, right?
In danger, perhaps. Suspects. There are a lot of them. Who do
So
you
as this
think?
conversation's happening as well, you can see the butler has gotten the first group of people together and is leading them kind of upstairs.
Yep.
And we'll come back down for you later, you assume.
Am I able to kind of try to get into the room?
Which room?
Into the room where Ivy and Yvette are.
Yeah, there's no one guarding it or anything. I think the only person in front of the room is currently Erla, as the butler
Brilliant.
moves upstairs.
And I'll flick from detect thoughts back into detect magic, and I'm going to kind of go through what the things that this room. I'm very familiar with this room, so I'm kind of inventorying and seeing if there's anything out of awry this time.
So sorry, this room, the dining room, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So make an investigation check for me, because as you're standing there, Yvette doesn't even notice you enter the room.
Yeah.
She's kind of just kneeling next to the body of her wife, still trying to you see this light pulsating from her hand. You see she's kind of, and you can see that magic as well as healing magic that she's kind of pushing in.
Yeah. Okay, I just panicked and decided to D&D Beyond it, but I'm fine with that because it came out with a 20.
Oh. Is that natural 20 or is that just a total 20?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Dirty 20. So looking around the room, there is nothing nefarious, I guess. A lot of the magic is standard. You can kind of see that maybe in some of the in some of the food there's also magic. You may expect that to be sort of flavorsome, enhancing magic. Some of the meats and things like that maybe have been stored using magic and then cooked. But there's nothing in the room that seems to be, there are no traps, there's no magic that will sort of give you any sort of unwanted effect.
And I'll start muttering a bit just to myself and be like, doesn't make sense. Why didn't the healing work? Enough that Yvette could probably hear me if she was listening.
So she's just kind of standing there. You can see she looks visibly she's growing weaker as she's just pushing this like magic into her, and then she just kind of
Pitch runs over and goes, darling.
I don't understand what happened. This was all supposed to be a game. Who would do something like this? You're my wife. We were barely together long enough. We had a whole future together, and now she's just lying here dead. She's like catatonic on the floor. It's like draped over her body.
Is it just a laceration on the throat? Is that what we're seeing?
Do you want to investigate the body?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and investigate the body.
I'm going to roll a die because I have them out. That wasn't bad. That was a 10 total.
10 total. So there's a lot of blood in that space. So even Yvette at this point looks like she's taken a dip in like a bloodbath. There aren't any other sort of visible lacerations except for the one directly across the throat. No kind of visible injuries in that sense without actually like, stripping the body and kind of doing all that. With that roll, it's more just a cursory glance. But one thing you do notice is that this is a lot of blood to come from this sort of wound. Like the amount of blood at this point is still trickling out of her throat, and it's kind of covered like a 20-foot like radius at this point in the room. Like there is so much blood and it's still pouring out of her.
I'd like to enter the room as well, but I am unfortunately not as sneaky with my new boots. So I am wearing my magical squeaky clean slippers of rubbersome. And it sounds like clown shoes. I will approach the body as well.
Fucking shoes, bro. Those fucking shoes.
You see Yvette is just like hunched over the body and she just kind of goes, please, I just need everyone to get out. I just need everyone to get out, please. I can't.
We hear you, dear. We hear you. But we need to work on what's going on right now.
But how do I know? I don't know who it was. It could have been anyone that was in this room.
That's what we're trying to figure out, I think.
It could have been you, darling.
So she kind of like turns, looks towards you, and see like her expression is just like distraught and mixed with like anger and confusion. And she's like, why would I invite everyone here to only kill my wife? That doesn't make any sense.
Maybe
it's a murder mystery, darling. We have to figure it out.
Maybe we should ask a different question. Can you tell us what was supposed to happen?
Gerald was supposed to be the one who died, and there was a clue that you were supposed to follow. One clue led to the next, and then you figured it out. And I just...
Who was supposed to have killed him in the end?
I don't remember. I was supposed to be involved in it. Ivy didn't tell me. I was supposed to help. It was supposed to help me bond with all these people that have come here because no one likes me. And so I was supposed to bond with them and forge relationships. I was supposed to help you.
I don't think it's true that no one here likes you. I like you.
You have to say that. We pay you a lot of money.
I mean, that is not necessarily untrue, but I don't have to say anything.
Please, could you just give me just 10 minutes just to clean up and to clean her? I don't want people coming in and seeing her like this. Gerald is calling people from the city to come and help. Please, it's all too much.
But it may be better if we don't clean it, though. If
yes,
we need to figure out what's happened.
But look at her here. She like reaches out towards like her face and tries to close her eyes, and he just leaves like smears of blood like across.
Yeah, Pitch starts actually like pulling her away, just being like shh, shh, shh.
I think I need to lie down. No one can come in here. No one can come in here. No one comes near her. Do you understand me?
Yes. I'm sure we understand the seriousness of the situation. take care of her.
I need to go lie down. I feel as though I might faint. And then she'll begin moving out kind of towards the doorway as the butler starts to come back down the stairs into the entryway. So anyone who's still in the entryway can see him begin to descend the stairs.
No.
Okay, so move into where the body is too.
Erla makes sure that she can see everyone. She always likes to be towards the back, basically, that sort of thing. So if she was standing by the door when people come back in and start heading up, she would wait till people start to walk by and then start to go up.
If everyone is ready, I can take you to your rooms upstairs.
Aye, I'm quite ready.
Shouldn't,
Are there any glasses and that left over from the chatter out here type thing just lying around on tables?
Yeah, everything has been left as is. So probably we're talking about 2 hours since you entered at this point.
Yeah. Erla, before making way up as well, will walk over and pick up a glass of something, whether it's wine or whatever drink, and just carry that behind upstairs with her.
I'm just going to roll. So you have a really nice, fine brandy.
Ooh,
a short glass.
Nice.
Definitely more her style. Perfect.
Can I check 2 things?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything obstructing the path from one end of the table to another? Like if someone were to throw a knife across the table, would there be something stopping it?
So so there are bouquets of flowers on the table. There are also chandeliers that hang low. So their stems are really long and then they sit probably 10 feet above the table. So there's that. So the actual gap between the table and the chandeliers is about 10 feet. And then you've got half of suckling pigs and things like that. So the amount of clearance that dagger would have to have if someone threw it, you're probably looking at maybe a foot and a half of clear space.
Right. But it is technically possible.
Technically.
Okay. The other thing, I would like to actually investigate the body this time.
Mm-hmm.
Because before I was running out.
Roll an investigation check for me.
Can I help with that? Kind of assist with this?
How would you like to help?
I think it'll turn into it. Pitch follows the instructions and kind of moves the body and kind of helps position and kind of helps investigate and take notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold her feet. Sure. So advantage.
Yes, roll with advantage.
That's not bad. 17.
17. Looking through the body, there is nothing. You open it up. So looking on the body, there doesn't seem to be any. What are you looking for? Are you looking in her pockets and clothing, or are you looking on her body?
I would mostly be looking at if I can ascertain the height of someone, if it was a knife of someone who killed her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess she was standing up when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So if the cut would have been from a downward angle or from a straight or from an above angle.
So Madame Dorcyne is 6'2", so she's very tall and very there aren't a lot of people here who are that height. The only people who would kind of come close to that from the guest list, I guess, might be Edo Kloss or Elias Farwin are probably those roughly around the same height. Everyone else seems to be much shorter.
Right.
The wound is straight across. Straight across. Maybe with a little tiny bit of an angle, but nothing
right.
discernible.
Okay.
By that sense, Erla would likely be the tallest there, I reckon.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're giving me some brand of God vibes. Right. So it was someone at a straight angle, at least, one way or another. I'm not quite sure what that means.
And Pitch will go, Brim, look at this blood. This shouldn't be as much blood that's coming out of the jugular, right?
Does that seem normal?
No, it's a lot of blood.
Could there have been an enchantment on the blade or something like that to encourage coagulation or something?
Potentially. Yeah. Does the blood look like it's just normal blood, or does it look like it's thin?
Is that a question to Laura or to me?
That was a question to Laura.
Oh, sorry. Repeat that.
Does the blood look like it's extra thin, or does it look like normal blood? There's just a lot of it.
Make a medicine check.
I
You said you're good at this.
didn't say that. 14.
Could I be helping with the telling of the notice of blood and all that kind of stuff?
I don't think that it like if you kind of like touch it, it just looks like blood.
Okay.
Like, it's
Doesn't
not like-
it's like 20 extra gallons of blood, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
doesn't
more-
look like it's like not human blood. Like, it doesn't look like it wouldn't have come from her. It doesn't look like there's like extra, it's not mixed with like a different type of blood. It just looks like normal human blood.
Oh,
Everyone
that's
here has
cool.
like, give themselves a paper cut or something like that in the past. It just looks.
She looks like she just has a lot of blood. I'm not quite sure what that means.
Well, she had a lot of blood. Now it's outside of her.
Yes. It was some sort of magical thing that happened. We couldn't heal her, so I'm guessing that that's the case then. Yeah. Must have been some kind of magic involved.
Does that mean we've got an assassin in the building?
Well, from the angle, it looks like someone had a straight cut, but
Was that from behind, though?
I can't see that. It just looks like a straight cut. So usually from behind, that would have been more of a downwards angle, I think. I'm not sure.
So as this is happening, Gerald will come down and like put his head in the entryway towards this room. Okay. Everyone, please, I must ask. Yvette has asked if I can clear this room. Everyone, can please make your way upstairs.
Yes.
Darling, Yvette's going to lie down. Could you go see to her, please?
Yes, that's what I was doing. I just come back from taking her upstairs.
Of course.
She's lying down. I must ask everyone to please leave this room, and we will close it. We'll lock it, and then wait for the authorities to get here.
Right. Yes. We should probably go.
We did the amount of people in here moving in and out. I'm sure that they'll do a better job if we can leave it just as it is, clean as possible. Or Yvette has already made a mess of it.
As
Tell
I
me.
walk out, I'm going to grab 2 bottles of wine.
Tell me,
With shoes.
Like rubber
you
sandals.
I'll light one of my cigars that was in my pocket as I say this, and I go, "Tell me, you were the closest to what happened. Did you notice anything in the dark?" And as I say that, I cast Detect Thoughts.
Who did you ask?
The butler.
Okay.
So his verbal response is, "No, all I did, I had this this vial that she'd given me, and I just tipped it on my head, and then lied down, and then I heard I heard her fall next to me. Then the lights came on. I was lying there with my eyes closed, pretending to be dead, as if she'd asked. Then next thing I know, it was screaming, and I woke up, and I got up, and she was lying next to me. Non-verbal, so the detect thoughts. Are you pushing deeper, or are you just kind of just getting baseline surface level?
I'll see what the baseline is and decide if I push deeper from there.
So he's pretty much thinking what he said and just trying to unravel it, kind of thinking, did I hear something? I mean, there was a scuffle. That wasn't me, but I thought someone had just banged their knee on the table. I've heard a glass fall over, but the darkness, people didn't know where they were. And he's just trying to piece it together to kind of think, did he hear something out of the ordinary? Because at the time, obviously, he wasn't looking for it.
I'm going to push deeper.
Is that a wisdom save?
Yeah, of 12.
It's a natural 14.
Okay. He's got no
So-
negatives, yeah.
So as he
Wise butler.
wise butler. So as he turns to look towards you, he goes, I think I'm getting a headache. I must ask you to please go upstairs to your rooms, and we'll just wait. They shouldn't be far. I've sent a message to them, so we just need to wait for them to get here. They'll be able to put all this behind us, and then you can all leave.
Here, darling, this will help with the headache. And I pass the brandy glass, which you see now has got like little bits of moss that have grown off of her fingertips onto the edge of the glass, before turning to everyone else and being like, come on now. We've been told to go upstairs. I think we best not cheat and follow the rules.
I don't
You're
know.
a
if
very
this-
curious
She's-
being.
Everyone agreed. No.
Pitch sees the moss on the cup and goes, does that garnish make it taste better?
Does the what?
Who are you
sorry?
asking?
With the brandy with the moss on the glass. So she sees that and goes, oh, does the garnish make it taste better?
I don't really taste much of anything these days. It's all like gargling swamp water.
Well, that's really unpleasant, isn't it?
I suppose I'm never disappointed or really expect much from a meal now, so try to take it with a silver lining, I guess.
Well, I'd say take it with a grain of salt, but I don't think that would make much of a difference, would it?
No, he wouldn't be able to taste it, apparently.
Very valid point.
As Tarathil proceeds upstairs, he's going to help himself to another wine of glass, but his previously graceful canter is slowly diminishing away, and he now rests a hand on his rapier and has very stern eyes on everybody, very suspicious, sharp looking around. He carries his wine glass upstairs, sipping quickly.
Is everyone proceeding upstairs?
But I am not drinking because it upsets my psyche.
Timothy's hasn't eaten or drunk anything at this party all night, but now she pulls out a flask that she's had in her coat and drinks some and puts it back.
Errol will be at the back of the pack again, making sure that everyone goes upstairs now.
Hold on. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Pitch is kind of looking out for Elias and Ramita, and go, look what I found, and walks up with the 2 bottles of wine and just starts chatting. But
Yep, so they are
all the
upstairs
while-
at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she'd walk up with the bottles and then announce herself.
Yep. So if you wanted to, Gerald can take you to their room.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he'll direct everyone to their rooms, and if you were kind of like, where's the after party,
Yeah.
he could take you to where they're staying.
Perfect.
So what I'll do is I will just quickly
Kill
Oh,
another player.
kill everyone.
Split the party, kill them one by one.
You said 2 full wine bottles, so someone's died of alcohol poisoning now.
We haven't partied, darling.
I don't know if that's enough to kill someone of alcohol poisoning, to be honest. Don't try that.
Good.
Why do these
Wonderful.
rooms look more like cells to me?
Because they are, darling.
So at this point, everyone has moved with Gerald up to the second story and has been led to a room, and the doors have been closed. Pitch is in a room with Elias. So Lameda is not there. Elias is there though, and he is just kind of sitting there with a drink in his hand. There's like a small desk in the corner, and he's just kind of like just drinking, just kind of like shaking his head, kind of taking in everything.
Yeah, and I say, I hope you don't mind I come and intrude. I have gifts.
Yes, well, I was just about to run out. I was about to send for the butler to get me another bottle, but this works just as well.
And pour some out and have a less of a pour to me, while I'm kind of small talking and kind of just seeing what their experience is.
So he will tell you that he has no idea what's going on. This is all super weird. This is going to completely destroy their chances of setting up that export line that they were talking about, because she was going to get permission for him to move some exports from another region because she had connections there.
Wasn't she? I was talking about that with her last week.
Yes, it's all. She hadn't sent the letter yet. Perhaps if I could find that letter and send. No, it's far too soon to be thinking of anything like that. But it is rather unfortunate, the poor thing.
It really is.
So he'll start, talking about like how unfortunate it is, and he doesn't, is it a ruse? Is it some sort of elaborate thing? He's just going to wait here until someone can come and figure it out, because he's had too much to drink already, and he's happy to just sit and wait.
And Pitch will softly kind of put the weight into it. Be like, there was a lot of blood, darling. I was down there helping with Brim. That I think we need to stay here until the actual officials come.
That's what I was wondering. I should go check on Lemidra at some point, but she wanted to be alone, so I'll go and find her in a little while.
All right. Yeah, and just chill.
Yep. He will happily just chill with you.
Yeah, I brought the wine.
Loves it.
Timothy will hear at his door before a gentle knock.
So are you leaving the room?
I'm leaving the room to go to Timothy's room.
All right. So when you come out into the hallway, which way are you going?
Oh, sorry, I thought I knew where he was. I am just gonna go to the left because that's what my cards tell me. Mm-hmm. And more left. And more left. And there's a door there, right? So
Yep, there's a door.
There's two doors.
Do I get a general idea of where I would probably be going to look for him? Or am I just lost?
Make a survival check.
Oh,
with advantage. You've been here before. Are you
I don't remember this place.
Shortly after going in the rooms as well, as soon as hearing the footsteps go away, Arella would have walked and just opened the door just enough that she could peek out and listen out. So I don't know if she would have heard Brim squeaking down the hallway or not.
I don't think that it's...
Yeah.
It's pretty loud. That would be 13.
Yeah, so you know that if you go through this door and go to the right, you'll find the hallway. The hallway is kind of like a big circle.
So if I go straight and then to the right, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I will go that way, and then I don't know where anyone is, so I'm just going to smell for cigar smoke.
Are you smoking a cigar, Timothy?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can smell it. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. That shit is pungent. So.
It's like a Scooby-Doo van. The door opens and smoke just...
A real wink, nudge of the smoke.
But before you come in, Timothy's been... she has a magnifying glass and she's been looking around the room. See if there's anything suspicious about this little room.
Roll an investigation check.
9. Oh, my rolls are crap.
Save it for the death saving throws.
Yeah, 9.
9. So all of the bedrooms, and I'll say this for everyone as well, they're all very similar in shape and size. So each of them are holding a double bed with a small mirror and a cabinet in the room. The beds are all plush with like deep mattresses, pillows made of down. The sheets are crisp and covered with, all of them have like crisp purple duvets. The stone floor is warm under your feet, as if there'd been like sunlight in the room. So even though it's dark, the floors are like magically warm, and Pitch, you would know that as well. There's kind of that enchantment over the floors.
Yeah.
In each room, there's also a there's a full-length mirror propped up against the wall, which is ringed in like a gilded gold frame. Other than that, there's nothing really of note in the room. There are no personal effects. They're very much guest rooms for people to come and stay in.
Come in,
Very
squeaky
Airbnb.
feet.
I was wondering if we could have a conversation about what just happened today. You with your keen insight.
That sounds wonderful. Wait, come. Take a seat on the bed.
I will come in and sit on the bed.
One last puff, and then puts out the cigar.
I'll pull out my pipe of flavorsome, and you will start smelling strawberries. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened, but what does your mind tell you? Tell me.
My mind tells me that whoever did this was obviously strong enough to overpower Lady Ivy.
What makes you say that? It was just one strike.
I read the butler's thoughts as we were coming up the stairs, and there seemed to be some sort of... He seems to remember some sort of struggle going on next to him before the lights came back.
Okay. So there was a fight. I think the butler did it.
I don't. His thoughts were too fluttered.
Interesting. What do you think of the others? Especially that Terran.
I don't know yet. What do I think of you, though? That's the question.
Well, I am an open book, except for when I am spiritually reaching out.
And what do the spirits say?
About which question?
Who the murderer is, obviously.
Let's have a look. I'll pull out a tarot card. The star. That means someone of high importance did this. So, it's probably not Terran.
I'd say that fails to really narrow it down.
Well, I'm pretty sure that this means that someone with lots of power or money did this. Necessarily just anyone.
What do you know of Tarathil?
He seems to be easily agitated by my powers.
Do you know who they are?
I don't know much. But it smells a little bit like cheese sometimes. I just like to put it out there.
Well, cheese is a meal for fancy people.
Well, it means that there's a mouse somewhere looking for him. But I'm not sure. I don't think he would have killed anyone.
You'd hope not. But then again, one of us has.
Maybe not one of us, but maybe one of them.
I prefer to keep an open mind unless we fully investigate who they are.
Yes, of course. On that note, I'm gonna go back to bed, I think.
Do your shoes squeak as you leave?
Ah, fuck! Oh, it's the other way.
God.
And Erla, you would hear Broom returning. Everyone on the floor. What do you?
And everything smells like strawberry.
Would I know where what room Pitch is in?
When you came up the stairs, she headed straight and you were escorted kind of the other way. So she went to the left and you went to the right. So you know that she is probably in that direction, but you didn't see like what room she went into or anything like that.
Okay, could I try and find Pitch's room?
Mhm.
You want me to roll survival or something?
Just no, I think it's pretty straightforward. I guess maybe when you get to that end of the hallway, so kind of going out that door on the right hand side and then going up towards the left. If you just want to roll a d6 for me to see kind of which room.
D6. I got a 2.
2. So you move over towards this room here, but the door is locked.
Okay. I gently knock on it and await an answer.
Waiting. And then you hear kind of a garbled, what is it? Are they here? Have they come?
Oof. I realize it's Yvette's room and I huff a bit and continue past, ignoring her, and continue down the hallway. And try the next door. And knocking on that one.
Which one? This one here?
Yes.
Yep. Wait. There's no answer.
Okay, and lastly, I shall try the third door. One last time. Third time's the charm.
You hear stifled laughter. And it's like, hello?
Lady Pitch, it's Tarathil. Come to the door, darling, please.
And you hear Pitch go, why am I answering for you? This is your room.
Same thing.
More laughter. Just laughter.
Look, I'll leave you to it. I'm just going to run to the bathroom. I'll leave you to.
You have to leave me with him.
It'll be good to catch up. And then he opens the door and kind of just brushes past you and heads down the hallway.
Tarathil will stare at them, and then I will enter the room. Pitch, I feel as though we might have gotten off onto the wrong start this evening, and I wanted to formally introduce myself. And mostly I am quite moved by how actionable you have been toward the madam in trying to solve her death. It does mean a lot.
That's fine, darling, but you know we've met before.
We have.
Yes, dear.
Okay. You'll have to remind me. I'm so sorry, Pitch. It's been quite an ordeal tonight.
Well, I don't know if I should really remind you, because it seems like if I'm not an elf, it's not really that important, is it?
Look, I deserve that, Pitch. But I wanted to ask, you were near the madam's body. Did you discover anything of importance?
A bit. She's dead.
The end.
That's the credits roll. Evidently, Pitch.
What are you asking for, darling?
Listen, I just want to find out who is actually trying to solve what's happened here and who's trying to stifle the truth.
Oh, and do you think you're the only one that's trying to find out the truth right now, darling?
No, and that is why I wish to strike a deal with you, Pitch. You and, as much as I hate to say it, the turtle are two of the main contributors to the investigation thus far, and you may or may not know this, but the madam was a very dear friend to me, and it would be my sole objective tonight to assist in finding her killer and making them suffer.
Okay, then what do you know?
Nothing of tonight, but, well, I am very suspicious of several key characters that have attended this evening, and before I left Madame Dorcyne and left behind this life many years ago, it seemed at the time that she might have been in danger, but she pushed me away. I couldn't discover anything at that time, but now it seems evident that something might have been going on, or has evolved into what we have seen tonight.
Can I have a look at your swords, dear?
I suppose if you must. And I pull out my rapier and little flick and hold it out to you.
And your others?
No, I only carry the one blade. And maybe if I could just have a little sparkle of magic around my fingers. I don't rely much on swordplay as I do my magical charms. I'm, as you can tell, obviously, I'm a man of diplomacy. I don't like to start fights.
Of course, dear. DM, is there any magic on this sword?
I don't think so. No.
For my character sheet, no, it's just a rapier +1.
Brilliant. I wasn't sure if there was like a secret to that, so I was just like, all right. Who do you know this gathering?
Well, I mean, you obviously know of Gus Tiller and his nationwide paper.
Right.
He's been quite instrumental in my downfall from society, as it were. So I'm not overly fond of the little rat, but he's not one I would find suspicious for this, even by his standards. He's a parasite, and he'll make the most out of he can of this unfortunate situation, but I would not paint him. There are others far rather more evident in my mind.
Right.
What do you think of Yvette, Pitch?
Of Yvette?
Hmm.
Well, she's pretty distraught right now, isn't she?
Yes.
I mean, I'd be really distraught as well if my partner just died in an unexpected murder mystery that was just out of nowhere. I'm now the murdered person.
Of course, Pitch. And I sip from my wine, and then. But it is weird, isn't it, that Yvette sort of came out of nowhere from nothing, had nothing, and Madame Dorcyne took her in so lovingly, and I don't trust her.
Well, darling, it makes it sound like you think nothing is a nowhere place to start. You have to start from somewhere, dear.
Of course, and to that regard, I respect her deeply, but her whole manner in which she met the good madam, and I know, Pitch, I'm not stupid. I'm obviously, I came here tonight with an agenda, but that has unfortunately changed when my childhood best friend was murdered in front of us and bled out in front of us. Yvette, I just don't trust her. Something's wrong, Pitch, and I came to you because I believe that you might be the one who will help me find the killer. Was I wrong?
That's a lot of weight to put on someone's shoulders, dear.
Then let us bear it together. That is my proposal to you.
I don't even know if I'm really in the mood to make a mystery solved. I mean, and she's holding a bottle of wine. Why not?
Great. Well, I'll leave you to your thoughts, but should anything arise, please come to my room and let me know. And Pitch, I mean this wholeheartedly. Keep your weapon close.
Oh. Okay.
Someone amongst us is lying. And with that, I will exit the room.
And she kind of turns around and closes the door with her arm. just like with her shoulder, like closes it and just goes and closes her eyes and starts concentrating.
As a note as well, so this hallway that you're currently in, so the hallway stretches from east to west across the entire length of the second floor. Cold stone is broken up underneath you by elaborately woven rugs with intricate shapes. So they're not all necessarily rectangular. Some of them are kind of cut into really intricate shapes of things like arcane symbols and things like that on the floor. There's one window as well in this hallway through which streams a steady beam of moonlight, and iron bars hold copper lanterns high along points of the ceiling, which throw soft glow over the numerous portraits and paintings on that wall. Collections of things like fine needlepoint as well, and portraits of delicate landscapes all along this hallway. And 2 suits of armor guard the top of the stairs on both landings. And the hallway is long, kind of dotted with those doors. Just as a note of what the general room looks like.
My bedroom door, I am going to leave open, and as Tarathil walks by, I'm just going to be like, "Oh, Tarathil."
Yes.
Would you like to share a cigar?
I don't smoke, but something tells me, Timothy, it's not the smoking you're interested in. And I shall step inside with my glass of wine and take a sip.
Rest my cigar on the bedside table. I don't put it out this time. It just sits there. And I go, "So, Tarathil, tell me, what brings you to this party?"
I'm glad you asked, Timothy, because I was going to ask you the same thing. We were both, as
I
it
had
were.
a feeling you might.
Right. We share a common background in that we were both cast from this world, from this life, after unpleasantries.
Yes. I'm sure you know all about my unpleasantries.
Oh, I heard about it.
I'm sure everyone did.
Yes.
Gus made that perfectly clear.
He is a piece of work, Gus. I can't stand it myself. In fact, I wouldn't have been too upset if it had been him killed tonight. But
You and me both.
Listen, the reason I came tonight, Timothy, I guess I just had an agenda of finding my way back into the fold, as it were, and I suppose petily, maybe even little taste of socialite revenge, but nothing to this level. That's changed. Madame Dorcyne was my friend. I'm here now to find her killer. What about you? Why did you attend?
Well, I was invited out of the blue, which surprised me, and decided, what the heck? A chance to, same as you, redeem oneself, whether that be through courteous means or other.
Of course. And what of now? What do you intend to do for the rest of the evening?
Now, I intend to question people, get to know them, and discover what makes everyone tick.
I swish around my wine a little. Who do you think it was?
I tend not to point fingers. I've done some investigative work in my lifetime, and this is just another mystery to solve.
Then consider, my friend, that you have my support. I have also just spoken to Pitch about the idea of collaboration. I don't care for friendships generally, but we share common ground in finding Madame Dorcyne's killer, and I'm more than happy to work together with you on this, so perhaps we can find the killer together?
Friendships are definitely something I am not used to, especially these days. But compatriots, perhaps we can work together.
Right. I've told Pitch the same, but before I was cast out, and this might be something I should ask you as well. Um, Before I was cast out, Timothy, Madame Dorcyne warned me of something specific. Well, sorry, non-specific, I should say. Before everything sort of played out, Madame Dorcyne told me that leaving this life was for my own good, and that I should get out while I can. Did she say anything like that to you?
No, not to me. I was always suspicious of how quickly they got together, though.
Oh, I am so glad you said that. Yvette, absolutely. I don't trust her. Her words, to you as I hear it, were quite meticulous when you were cast from this life. And that alone should raise suspicion, would you not think?
For someone as kind and beautiful as Madame Dorcyne to marry someone as vile and vicious as Yvette seems outlandish.
I agree. I agree. There's something odd about Yvette, and I would be watching my sword arm around her being. I think we've all been brought here tonight for a reason. There is a game afoot. We just don't know it yet.
But were we brought here for a reason? Or has us bringing here given someone a reason?
Tarathil kind of almost barely stifles a chuckle and sips his wine, a very long, considerate sip, before taking the glass away from his lips. You are very good at this.
That's why I don't point fingers until the deed is done.
I think it will be beneficial working with you, Timothy. But for now, I'm going to retire to my room. Best of luck. Tell me if you need
And
my
to you.
assistance. Thank you. And Tarathil will stiffly walk back to his room quietly.
Is there anyone else who would like to do anything during this time?
Could I double up?
Mhm.
So once the door closes, she takes a breath and she gets her cards out. She starts shuffling them, and she's going to ritually cast augury. And she's going to throw out a few cards. And one of the first questions is, was the blade enchanted?
No. Oh, whoa, I guess.
Right. Well, that's changed all my questions. And she starts shuffling, and she gets absent-minded with her shuffling, and she goes, "Is she dead?" And pulls out a card.
Wheel.
Shuffle again. Am I in danger?
Wheel.
Swig.
It's Magic 8 Ball you got there. Don't count on
it. No.
Is there anything else that anyone would like to do kind of during this time? No? So, as time passes, you can hear the house growing quiet. Kind of all those footsteps that were shuffling around this floor fade into fade into nothingness. And then everyone can hear all at once the sound of chiming as the clock strikes midnight. You can count them. 12 chimes. And then as that happens, who is that? That's Tarathil. The fireplace in your room extinguishes.
Tarathil notices it and quickly puts his glass on a nearby table and rests a hand on his rapier. Tarathil is sweating nervously. He speaks loudly. Who goes there at my door?
No response.
I draw my rapier. And I step towards the door. Was that my door opening?
That was a door opening somewhere in the hallway. You heard the sound of a door opening and closing.
Okay. Tarathil takes a big breath and gently opens the door, just pushing it ever so slightly and peering through carefully.
So as you're kind of opening the door, Brim, can you please make a perception check for me?
A perception check? That's not going to be great, I think. Nope, it's not. Perception. Oh. That is 13.
13. So as you're standing there, you hear the door opening and closing somewhere in this hallway. And then there is like a rush of wind kind of from underneath the door leading into your room. And then you kind of hear this sound as it starts building up. You hear these whispers coming in from underneath the doorway. And it says, "They're hiding below."
They're hiding below?
So you hear that as you're kind of standing in the room, all the lights go out, kind of any candles that were in the room are extinguished, and then you just hear that whispering. And Tarathil, as you open the door kind of into that hallway, it's a stone hallway. It's windy and narrow, but it's all dark. Kind of the whole room is dark. It's hard to make out any details, even with dark vision. Kind of the shadows in the corners of the room are like encroaching. Like you can't see into the corners. It just looks black.
Okay, Tarathil takes a big, deep breath. All right, Tarathil, we're not dying tonight. We're not dying tonight. They're not going to get you. And I would like to... I'm going to try and make a break for Timothy's room, but I would like to try and stealth, if possible, GM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Make a stealth check for me.
Awesome. 22.
22. You are confident that no one can hear you coming.
Great. I step out into the hallway, sword at the ready, and with one hand in the sword and one hand with my magical hand free, and I'm going to proceed down towards Timothy's room. Upon arriving, I will put my back against the door and bump it with my elbow.
Yes.
Timothy, it's Tarathil. Open the door quickly.
I open the door.
I back in quickly and shut the door and look at him. You can see Tomodi that Tarathil's sweating. He's got his sword drawn. He has this wild look in his eyes.
Question: did my cigar go out in midnight?
No.
Okay. You all right?
Tomodi,
You seem like you've seen a ghost.
and I look at him. A ghost? Why would you say that? A ghost?
I'd just like to correct and say Timothy's a girl, but
Oh, sorry. My dossier says he. I thought-
Sorry, that's my fault.
I'm sorry.
I've been internally clocking that the whole time, being like, okay, what pronouns are we working with?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Okay. Yeah. He says to her, "A ghost. What would make you say a ghost?"
well, the expression on your face. You met with Lady Dorcyne?
That's not funny. Listen. At the strike of midnight, a breeze came through under my door. The fire went out. Someone came up to my door and was knocking, and then fled into the darkness. It seems darker out there now. Something's going wrong here. I don't
Like
think.
to look out
Sorry.
and see what he means by darkness.
So as you look out of the room, you have dark vision, yes?
Think
so,
a great
half-orc?
question.
Yes, you do.
Half-orc, yeah.
So looking out into the hallway, it is like pitch black. So even though it is total darkness and you have dark vision, it doesn't seem magical, but it just seems like nighttime without any moon or without any stars or any illumination. Like you can see kind of vague shadows of like portraits on the walls and things like that, but you can't make out any detail on it. It's just dark.
Do I see the window at the end of the hallway?
The window is not anywhere. You would have to go around to the other end of the hallway. There's only one window in this hallway, and it's
Okay.
kind of near Brim's room.
All right.
Brim and Erla.
I pull my head back in. It seems as if someone's turned off the moon.
Yeah, well, we saw what happened downstairs. They clearly are able to manipulate the darkness. They killed Madame Dorcyne. At this point, Tarathil starts like welling up in the eyes, and you see that he's in a fragile mind state. What's going on? This isn't right. This isn't normal. This isn't what I signed up for tonight.
Let's go check on the others.
All right, you go first. I've got your back.
I'm going to pull out my battle axe from behind me, put my cigar back on the nightstand, and walk out towards Brim's room.
Mm-hmm. Which way down the hallway are you going? Are you going left or right?
I'm going to go, because I don't know where everyone went, I'm going to go right. I'm going to start going right unless Tarathil stops me.
Which room are you trying to go to? It's.
I don't know. I was going to try go to Brim's, but I didn't see which direction Brim came from. So I'm going
Neither did I, so I'm going to follow you at your back.
Straight into the trap.
Go to this room and knock on the door.
Temitsu, that's my room.
Oh, of course. I keep going.
Does anyone answer though?
Just a very real moment of going into a mansion and trying to find a room that you've never been to before. Like, oh,
Get to this
Why are
room.
there 12
knock, knock,
bathrooms
knock.
on this floor?
Welcome to the hill.
on to the next floor. Why
Is
are
this
there
Brim's
no
room?
bathrooms?
I don't know where Brim is. Let's check who's inside now.
Erla did
At this
leave her
point, do
door
I notice
ajar.
anything out the window?
So two things are happening at once. Are you looking out the window and you're opening and you're going to the door?
Yeah, we're going towards the door, and as we're headed towards the door, I notice the window and just look out.
Make a general perception check for me. And as a note as well, the door that you're currently standing in front of is kind of open, like by this much.
Perception is 21.
Looking out the window, it is kind of pitch black, and it takes a second for your eyes to kind of adjust to the lack of depth, I guess, in the horizon. You're kind of looking out expecting to see kind of mountains in the distance and the moon and things like that, but there's just kind of nothing. And as you're kind of standing there focusing a little bit, you notice that the drive that you approached, so this is facing the front of the house, the window that you're looking at, the driveway that you came up stretches for you can just see the shadow of it just stretches and stretches and stretches out until it's a pinprick in the horizon. Like it is so long, which does not match kind of the 120, 200 feet that it was when you entered.
I think we may have a problem, Tarathil.
What problem? Where?
Well, there doesn't seem to be any light coming from outside, and from what I can see, the driveway is a lot longer than it was when we arrived.
Tarathil does not edge toward the window out of fear, but takes your word for it and says to Timoti, "What in the hells have we been dragged into?"
Don't know. We should get the others. At this point, we're probably better in numbers rather than alone. The killer could pick us off.
I agree. And Tarathil will turn from behind Timothy and push open the door with his rapier past his person carefully. Let's go inside.
On the bed, you see Erila as though she is sat on the side of the bed and then laid back with her arms sort of crossed over her chest. And you see as elements of mold have look like they've grown off of her and onto the bed frame and the bed a little bit as she's laying there, and her skin looks a little bit paler than usual. And as you walk in, she sort of opens her eyes and looks down. Next step of the game. Is it ready?
Off you go, Timothy.
What? You all look frazzled.
Erila, Come, look out the window. What do you make of this?
Slowly get up. I see an illusion. Something telling us we can't leave till we solve the game's riddles.
Tarathil looks at Erila. What kind of paladin are you?
I have pledged myself to the powers of rotten growth.
Right. Timoti, a word.
Okay.
I'll just take a few steps away from Erila.
If you look over your shoulder as you walk away, she does a little like...
I'm like, Tarathil's like, Timoti, she's insane, right? What's her role in this?
I don't know. I've only met her tonight.
If there was some sort of red flag, as it were, she's it.
Now, Tarathil, I'm not one to judge.
Okay. Do you trust her?
I don't even trust you.
He looks somewhat scorned by that for a moment, but logic takes over. Right, Timoti. I hear what you are saying. I don't care what we do at this stage. I do not want to be out in these corridors in the dark. So if we want to bring the mad woman of rotten growth with us, I will hold you personally responsible when she kills me in my sleep.
I doubt any of us will be sleeping tonight. Pats you on the back. Erla, come. Let's go get the others.
Coming. I'll get my things. I go collect my shield and my war pick.
I'll wait till Erla comes back out and go, you go first.
I really prefer being at the back. Being at my height, I can make sure everyone is where they should be.
Right, I completely hear you. Timothy, you go in the middle because you're very smart and you can see many things. I will take the lead on this one, my friend.
I stand beside Erla.
She places a hand on your shoulder and smiles at you.
So, Erla,
Yes,
What?
darling.
what brought you to this event?
I presume the same as everyone else. An invitation.
But why would you be sent an invitation?
It's a question as good as any other. Why were you chosen?
I don't specifically know, but I did at least have some sort of relationship with the Dorcynes before tonight. Did
Yes.
you have any sort of relationship?
Well, I presume we all did. Otherwise, why else would we be invited?
Hmm. Would you care to elaborate on your relationship at all?
Not particularly. I don't know if I can trust you myself yet.
I don't think I trust anyone at this moment.
Good. Good.
Take one step away from Erla, still beside her.
A little bit of moss is left on your shoulder.
Prestidigitation.
Come on.
I'm gonna head over to Brim's room, I guess.
Yeah, we go as a group. Tarathil gets there first, quickly knocking.
There's no
Erla's-
answer.
Ooh.
Brim, darling, lovely sage. Please let us inside if this is your room. Is this Brim's room? And I ask the others that as I turn.
Yes,
I think it is.
so.
I've heard his feet.
Yes. Keeps you up.
There's no answer.
Can I check if the door's locked?
It's not.
Okay, gently push it open and give it a shove.
So you
And
see
hold
Brim
onto it.
standing in the middle of the room with his hands out. His head is gone. You can hear him talking.
Tarathil.
I hear the spirits calling me. And his head popped up from his shield.
For a moment.
Below us, they are hiding. They are below us. This mystery must be solved. The spirits call to me. I command we investigate. Oh, I didn't see you there.
So at this point, Brim, you hear a message in your head of Pitch frantically saying, Brim, we have a problem. We have a real problem. We need to find something now.
There is also a real problem here. You can hear him saying this as he recites. We need to get to Pitch immediately. Something's awry. We'll be right there, Pitch.
Right. Are you okay, Brim?
I am perfectly fine. The spirits overwhelm me.
Wait, so we need to get to Brim and there's shadows below us?
No.
What?
Let's go get Pitch and then we go below. I am Bryn.
Oh, yes.
What kind of investigator are you? You can't even see what's right in front of your head. That is why I offer my services.
Sorry, your shoes prevent me from thinking straight.
I don't think that was my shoes' fault. Anyway,
At this point, you hear Pitch actually yell, "Bryn!"
They summoned.
As a note, if you're yelling from where you are on the map, people on the other side of the hallway can't hear it.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually be doing that as I'm walking towards the rest of the rooms.
So if you're doing it within the hallway, so even if you were standing, let's say, here, noise does not travel to here. If it's non-magical. Messages work, but if you're just yelling...
I would be pretty familiar with this layout, right? So I can kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
This part of the house you've been in a handful of times.
Yeah, and I tabaxi speed it, so I'm rushing.
Yeah.
So I find you guys, and I go, Elias, Gus, they're all gone. They're all gone.
What?
They are
And
below.
she's full,
hiding.
and anyone that was seeing Pitch drink, like she's full sober. She's full switched on and sober. And she goes, all of them are gone. He went just before you saw him, right? You saw him pass you at the door, right?
Gus?
No. Elias. God, get it together.
No, I don't think... Guys, we didn't see Elias.
No. When you came to the room and you tried to discuss an alliance, remember?
Tarathil... Yes, I remember. I did not see Elias.
He passed you, though, didn't he?
You remember him leaving the room when you entered. He said he had to go to the
Oh,
bathroom.
right. Yes, I do remember that. My fear is getting the best of my memory.
Right, so he actually was there.
He was there. Sorry, I'm not you're not imagining this.
Lamina, Gus, Elias, they've all gone. I can't feel my spellbook downstairs with Evie, with Ivy, with Yvette. Yvette's laying down, but I can't feel my spellbook.
We must go downstairs and investigate. That's what the spirits tell me. I can't deny the spirits, can we?
Also, why is it so dark in here? And I try to prestidigitation the torches.
The torches splutter to life again as the room is filled with kind of that orange, pale candlelight glow. And then they slowly start to fade again until there's nothing.
They should not
Look
fail
out.
like this.
Look out the window, Pitch.
Right.
You can explain that, then we'll have one mystery solved.
And I turn towards and go, illusion or another plane?
Erila seems to think it's an illusion.
Oh, you turned to Errol with that? Yes. I think illusion.
Why do you
Either
think
way,
illusion?
Because I have no experience with other planes.
Could I make an Arcana check to see if I can tell the difference?
Yeah, roll an Arcana check for me.
Pretty please. Oh, that wasn't the kind of die that I wanted, but that will work. So that's a 17.
So the study of interplanar magic is something that has been debated in the world many, many times over. And there's also the debate that potentially traveling between planes is an illusion. It's one of the most powerful illusions that have ever been created by the gods. And so kind of where that line is you're not sure. What side of the fence it falls on, you're not sure.
Mhm.
But you do know the magic of illusions and kind of knowing how they operate on this plane, I guess, in the sense of casting.
Yeah.
And this doesn't feel the same as that type of magic.
I don't think this is one of the ones that you can just walk through and it dispels.
I pull out another tarot card, and it's the tower. We are all trapped here until we solve this. Put it back.
Until the castle is rebuilt again.
Until we
know-
have done what we're here to do.
I'm wondering if you are a true seer or whether you'll just state the obvious.
He has a habit of that.
I am a gifted seer. And we must go downstairs, and I will prove it. Someone is hiding.
All right, then. Lead the way. If anyone's going to get eaten, I think I let Squeaky go first. I
So
say that
everyone
under my
moving-
breath.
We're going
Is everyone
downstairs.
moving to the staircase to go downstairs? Everyone's following?
Can I try and recast my book
Mhm.
and see if it actually comes back?
Yep.
Let me just make sure I can actually do that in the feats. Pretty sure I can.
While you're doing that pitch,
Yeah.
can Tarathil check that we can physically leave the front door? Just out of curiosity.
So, just as a note, as you kind of come down the staircase into the entry room, you notice kind of immediately that the atmosphere in this room has changed.
Hmm.
However, the change is not glaring. The room's lights are still lit. However, they seem much dimmer, as if being encroached upon by darkness. Pitch, you would know that the lights in this room are magical. They are unextinguishable candles.
Mhm.
But there seems to be like something is still trying, so they seem dimmer. The carpets, as you walk over them, Tarathil, as you're kind of moving towards the entryway, emit puffs of dust as you're walking. And as you step onto the carpet, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Finally, he died, that little bastard.
No! Constitution. Let's go. 15?
15. As you kind of step onto the carpet, you get this smell kind of hits you in the face, and everyone that enters the room can smell it as well. But where Tarathil's standing, it's a lot stronger. And the scent is that of like lavender and roses and flowers and like those really floral scents, but it's so overwhelming that it's almost starting to like give you a headache.
Oh my! By the god! Oh, can I? What do I do? Do I maybe try to backstep away from the carpet? Maybe that's what's doing it.
Mhm.
Okay, I
As you
back
step
towards-
away, you can still smell it. It's not as like powerful as you step back, but you can definitely still smell it. It's almost like you walked into the plume of the incense smoke. So kind of like almost like started to like smother you a little bit as you walked into it, and then as you step back, you can just kind of dissipate it a little bit.
It looks like Tamodi is to my left, so I lean back and just wave the air in front of me. Tamodi, I think someone left the incense burning. Goodness, that is remarkably strong.
They don't
Can
burn
I-
this kind of incense.
Can I
you
run my finger along like the staircase and just see if it's caked in dust?
The banister.
Yeah.
It's not caked in dust, but there is residue on it. So it's not like cake. You're not getting like strings of dust on your fingers, but it is. There's definitely something there.
Wasn't this place clean when we went upstairs?
It was.
Pitch, how did you go with recasting?
Yep. I just needed to burn a first level spell slot.
So it
So,
appears as
yeah.
it should.
And actually, so it glows within 10 feet. So I guess the glow is pushing as well.
Yeah, so I'd say if it goes for 10 feet, it's probably doing 5.
Yeah.
Well, this is all curious. We must follow the spirits. And I will open this door here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to no, I'm going. I go to do the action, and I stop myself from doing anything, and kind of just watch what happens next.
Erila is checking to see where the dust begins, to see if it's like a gradual change as well towards the top of the stairs, or if it's a sudden in the room thing. Well, that's all going on.
As you enter, kind of as you open the door, Brim, you kind of hear like a rush of wind again as you open it. It's almost like the wind like rushes out towards you from the door. And you hear these voices in your head as they begin whispering, deeper, deeper below, deeper. What dissipates.
Below.
And entering this hallway, you see a long, elaborately woven red rug that runs the length of the hallway, kissing the feet of 8 golden suits of armor that kind of 4 on each side. The walls are laden in this room with portraits of various kind of unknown nobles, distant royalty, along with a few portraits of Madame Dorcyne and her wife that are kind of, they sat for those portraits done. Long shadows reach out from behind these suits of armor, and they're all kind of cascading across the floor towards the doorway where you're standing, as if the shadows are reaching out towards you. And the colors of the portraits on the wall, so the window here is streaming through like pale kind of moonlight, and the colors in this room are completely grayscale.
Okay. Do I know which way to go down? I'm guessing there's a cellar or something. Or some kind of doorway leads down it.
Mm-hmm. Give me 2 seconds. Erila, can you please roll an investigation check for me?
Yep. Investigation 8.
It seems the dust seems to run from the very top of the stairs on the second level down to the bottom. Like there doesn't seem to be any place where it's like abruptly starting or stopping. It's just kind of dusty, hasn't been dusted in a week, kind of banister.
All right.
Brim, can you please roll a history check with disadvantage for me?
That's not great. History 7.
This is the only floor that you've been on aside from the second floor where you just were. You never previously been up to the second floor. That was your very first time. This room, kind of this floor here, you've been several times, but you've never been downstairs, and no one's ever taken you downstairs.
Right. I'll turn around to the others. I believe that we may be in danger, so just in case, I will imbue you with some of my spiritual mental power. I'll give everyone 11 temporary hit points.
Thank you, dear.
Darker.
Thank you, Brim.
Use it well.
That's not 11. Very good.
Seems to be dusty all the way up. I'm not sure if this is sudden or what, but whatever's going on here,
It's not normal.
yes, and it doesn't seem to be starting in any particular spot.
Did any of you notice anything that went a bit awry, a bit different? Did anything flip at any time?
Flip?
I don't know how to explain this. Sometimes planes of existence can suddenly change. You know?
No idea.
Okay. Sometimes time can suddenly be more. I don't know how to explain this. We're talking about meta magic. Are you guys kind of versed in this?
Yes, I know a great deal about magic. Meta magic specifically.
Of course, dear. You taught me well.
We need to go downstairs, though. Which way do you think is more appropriate?
It seems
Well-
as though we have this room here. We could go in groups of 2 or 3.
No, it is dangerous alone.
I, for one, would like to investigate the body before we continue any further.
I would like to go see the body again too.
I am going to draw a card. The lovers. I don't think she's there anymore. I sense difference.
Brim, you're really freaking me out.
I'm
Have you been
stating
wrong?
the obvious.
Have you been wrong about anything yet tonight, Brim?
I have not. Except Terran hasn't died yet.
I don't plan to, Brim. I'm not
Well,
dying.
no one plans to die, do they?
I mean, did anything happen with the fire, Terran?
The fire in my room went out.
Well, there's my evidence.
Extinguished flame. Curious.
Who is it?
Not curious enough that we should indulge it. I think. Group, don't you agree? Can we move on from the me
Yes.
dying?
I'm ready to go downstairs, you were saying, Brim? Right?
Yes, we need to go downstairs, but if we need to look at the body first, we can definitely do that too.
We just need to do a quick check.
Of course. Although, if Brim's been right about everything so far.
You audibly hear Timothy humph about him being right all the time.
Did we just hear something from the dining room?
No, it was just me.
Oops.
Moving. So Pitch flies the card into the dining room.
So from the dining room, it's very
Don't step on the carpet.
it's can you just roll a general perception check for me?
I certainly can. It was a good one. So that is 18 plus 4. So that's 22.
The room it looks visibly colder and hotter at the same time. So the colors in the room have gone kind of like that same sort of grayscale color, not quite as much as the hallway, but the fire on the right, so on the eastern side of the room, is like roaring, like tremendously roaring, almost as if someone's like poured gasoline on the fire. And it looks a little bit different in the room as well. You can still see the body lying in the pool of blood next to kind of where she fell, essentially. But nothing else kind of strikes you as completely different. And also, if you're trying to step through the room, the door is locked.
Oh.
To these guys that are creeping in.
Can I attempt to unlock the door with my thieves' kit?
Mhm.
Would that be a sleight of hand roll, dear?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you called me
confirm.
dear for a second. It took me a second to read.
No, DM, sorry. 29?
Dear?
No, that's Pitch.
Yeah, that's Pitch's whole thing. I don't want to steal your lingo, Pitch.
Darling dear.
Darling, there.
Yes. So as you open, so as you kind of get your thieves' tools out, you can hear the kind of like, and then the lock is unlocked.
Open the door. Proceed. I will allow you to go in. I cannot see Madame Dorcyne like this.
I'm going to follow in behind. Are you going in first? Did you want to go in first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Yeah. So I'll go in behind, trail behind, and then split off and go straight to the body at some point. And I'm going to ritually cast Gentle Repose.
Mhm.
And as I'm doing it, I'm like, I forgot to do it before. I have to do it. I have to.
Perfect. So who is entering the room? Is it just you two?
I think so.
Erila would make her way over to the door. She'd just walk inside, just stand on the inside. That's it.
Yep.
Also, Gentle Repose, that's the one that like slows or stops decay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would Erila recognize this spell?
Make an Arcana check.
Woo! Terrible. Whopping 3.
You recognize that she is casting magic, and over the body you can make a vague assumption that it's some sort of preservation-ish type healing, maybe sort
I
of
started laying
spell.
down cards. So I laid 2 cards on her eyes, then 1 on her forehead, 1 on her throat, and it's just like down her energy levels. And so that's how I've ritually casted Gentle Repose.
So you can get she's doing something to the body.
Yeah.
What that is, no idea.
Some sort of ritual, darling.
So
Yeah, just making sure she doesn't come up when she shouldn't be.
Understood.
As you enter the room, does anyone who has entered have a spell that does psychic damage?
Ooh, shit. Good question.
Many.
I don't think so, but just double checking.
I've got True Strike, I think, out of everything, and yeah, that's the only one I imagine might be able to do that. I can't tell if it does. Knowledge.
Well, anyone who has entered the room that has a spell that does psychic damage, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please, as you enter the room. So as you kind of start filtering out, make that save.
I don't think I do.
I got a 5.
So as you start moving over, and you're ritually casting this spell, all of a sudden you feel this kind of searing pain in your forehead, and then it's almost as if you've been struck on the head. And then as you open your eyes, you see the eyes of Madame Dorcyne flick open as the cards fall, and she looks up at you. And then a hand reaches out kind of towards your face as she kind of like sits up and then passes through you. And her face is like twisted and mangled as if she's like reaching out to you, like screaming silently.
I reach back because I'm familiar with that's not a good psychic feeling, and I pull back.
Did we all see that, or was it just him?
No one else saw this. If they were watching pitch, I know Erila was watching pitch, they may have seen her kind of like pull back a little bit as she's placing the cards down on Madame Dorcyne's body. But that's it.
Can I make like an Arcana check to make sure that it's not the Gentle Repose that did that or something like that?
Yeah, make an Arcana check.
So that's a 21.
You don't know. You kind of haven't experienced Gentle Repose doing anything like that before. You can pretty much safely assume, as far as you know with the spell, that it doesn't cause any sort of manifestations.
Yeah. I look around quickly. I've also got the card up, so pretty much 360 awareness.
Mhm.
Anything else? Any other shifting aside from what's in the room?
There are a lot of shadows in the room that are moving sporadically because of the fire on the eastern side of the wall. But other than that, nothing else seems to be out of place.
Yeah, she's stood up and she's kind of like really rigid and her tail's very stiff and her ears are just like satellites right now and she's just like trying to figure out what just happened.
You look a little startled, darling. What's going on?
I mean, the phrase "I think I saw a ghost" is kind of outdated at this point, isn't it?
I guess.
I'm not sure if I just saw a wraith or something. I just read about wraiths, but I just got psychically attacked with the form of Ivy.
Like I said, she's not there anymore.
Interesting.
Timothy would just like to glance around the room and see if there's any changes of anything, particularly the paintings of the R2.
Roll a... Are you actually going up like along the walls and like investigating them, or are you just standing in the middle of the room looking around? Are you kind of
Standing
canvassing?
in the room, canvassing.
Yep. Make a perception check for me.
Dirty 20.
As you're standing there kind of looking around, you hear something. Not quite sure what it is. It's kind of this faint sort of muttering, maybe. As you're standing there, kind of edge towards where it's coming from. And then as you look up, you see the head of the deer as it's sitting in the wall. And you can hear barely perceptible the sound of muttering coming from its mouth. Kind of like whispers, like...
Do I see its mouth moving?
Doesn't look like it's moving. It's just kind of... Its mouth is kind of slightly open. And you can just kind of hear... It's almost like there's wind coming out of it, but it's like whispers.
I'd like to cast Mage Hand and push the moose. Without getting close to it.
Make a strength check for your Mage Hand.
Does that use my strength?
Yeah, so I think that it can't move anything more than 10 pounds, I think.
Yeah, hand can't attack, activate magic items, or carry more than 10 pounds.
Yeah, so just make a general strength, like a general D20 roll and add 1.
Okay, 16.
16.
16. I did the second roll of 16.
16
is very strong.
So as your mage hand reaches out towards the head of the deer, or the stag, you see it kind of rocking a little bit before it kind of falls a little bit, kind of lopsided off the wall, and you can hear the muttering still from its mouth.
There's nothing behind it. It's coming from the actual moose head.
Doesn't look like there's anything behind. It's kind of hanging half off the wall where it was mounted. You can just see solid stone behind it.
Is there a problem with the deer head, dear?
It's whispering. I wanted to make sure there was nothing behind it before I got closer.
Erla, as well as you're kind of standing in this room watching everything happening, you sense a very familiar smell of decay in the room. Kind of barely perceptible, but for your kind of your background and kind of what you surround yourself with, this is a very noticeable scent kind of on the air in this room.
The smell of death lingers and grows here.
Shouldn't be smelling that. It's only been a couple of hours.
Oh, there is a very strong smell of decay here.
Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like the tower is in the position the tower was earlier.
It's something like this. And Erila is going to... let's see if I can remember what it's called.
In my head, I just went, "You just fart."
Yes.
Sorry, that was my ass.
No, wait, I'm still doing the thing. It wasn't that.
Oh, I can't find it. Level 10. So many actions, so many feats, so many things.
Just quickly, which moose is whispering? Is it the one on the far end or the one closest?
The one that you are closest to, this one here.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to use my aura of rampant sickness to make everyone smell something very similar to what I'm picking up. So anyone within 10 feet of me would smell that.
So I was right.
Short range. I can sense it.
Do you know where it's coming from?
Does it smell stronger in a particular direction?
Roll a perception check with advantage for me.
Sweet.
No.
Whew. Whew.
It's
That was a nat 1 and a nat 19.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
Dirty 20.
Love that.
As you kind of move around the room, kind of smelling it, it seems to be permeating from everywhere. But as you move closer to the table, you can smell it stronger.
Look across the table. Is there like food that is rotted and things of that nature across the table?
The food looks normal. It looks as though it's been left out for a couple of hours, but doesn't look like it's not rotting. There's no bugs on it. It looks relatively normal.
Pull
Maybe
out
bread's
two
a
of the
little stale.
chairs. Look under the table. Somewhere around here.
They are hiding below.
Under the table, there isn't anything strange. Just table legs and kind of tablecloth that half covers your head as you duck under, but nothing.
Center of the room here, somewhere around this table. And you say below.
Then perhaps I think, unless Pitch has discovered something of Madame Dorcyne, we need to go into the cellar.
Agreed.
I've
Smell
also wandered
seems like it's
towards
growing.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, all good. Just said the smell seems to be growing.
I walked towards the fireplace to kind of see what's going on with that, because these are Pitch's flames. This is Pitch's continuous flame spell.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to figure out why are things not doing what she said.
Roll an Arcana check for me.
I like that check. So that's about a 24. Let me confirm. Yep, 24.
Looking at these flames, it looks as though they have been amplified using something like metamagic. So something has been cast on them, or something is affecting them that is making it kind of 10 times what it should be. So something has amplified this spell.
Something's amplifying this, but I didn't do this.
I'd like to pull the moose off the wall.
Make a... How you do it? It's very high up, so you're probably looking at like 25, 30 feet up. Like the walls in this room are 50 feet, so it's quite high. So how are you pulling it off? Maybe let's say like 20 feet.
I would like to cast jump. And then jump and grab it.
Make a... Because it's already half off the wall, so I'm going to get you to make a dexterity check for me.
Ooh, that's a 17 plus a 1. 18.
Very fluidly, as you kind of stand there and then jump up, reach up, grab the moose. It's quite heavy, like kind of the head, and like it's on like a really solid wooden plaque. You kind of jump off, pull it off, and land back down. No adverse effects.
Is the muttering really loud now that I have it in my hands?
It's not any louder than it was, but it's still kind of...
Whilst that's going on as well, Errol is under the table just looking for anything because there's something weird about this table. So underneath, just looking at the underside of it and exploring. Yeah.
Make an investigation check for me. Doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary under here. Maybe a couple of cobwebs that the cleaners have missed, which seems a bit unusual. But kind of given the state of the previous room that you were in, that's the only thing that really strikes you as odd. The fact that there's kind of dust and cobwebs underneath in the kind of corners of the table.
I'd like to look at the ceiling.
Make a perception check.
Not too bad. Oh, wow. 27.
Looking
Not
up
too
at the
bad.
ceiling, there doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary. It is an elaborately carved kind of with like floral motifs all across the stone in the ceiling, but nothing that strikes you as odd.
I would like Tarathil to head to the back of the dining room to this other door and check if it's unlocked. I walk up, sword still drawn, free hand, twisting the knob and trying to push the door open if possible. And just as he steps over Madame Dorcyne, he just doesn't look. He can't look.
Pitch walks over to Brim while this is happening, and the spider appears on her hand. And she goes, "Looks like Yvette's gone too."
I think both of the lovers may not be here anymore. I think that was what the card was telling me.
I literally had a spider on her, and the whole room has gone dark.
That is unfortunate.
Not for the spider.
No, but for
So
Yvette.
Tarathil, as you enter this room, it is not locked. And as you kind of peek through, you can see that this room is completely dark, save for a small fire that's lit beneath the stove directly in front of you. The remnant smell of cooking still lingers, mixed with the smell of charcoal. As you look down, the floor is covered with remnants of food and smashed glass and what looks like, some sort of jams and preserve that have kind of been splattered throughout the room. Two of the shelves that are on the far wall seem to have been pulled forward and almost like half toppling over, and their shelves are bare and their contents are kind of splattered all over the floor. There are stairs over on the left-hand side that seem to go down. However, they've been blocked with kind of furniture and crates, and there's like a table that's been like overturned and pushed against the entrance going downwards.
I poke my head back out and say to the others, I think I found an interesting development, friends. When you're done in there, come over here and I'll show you what I found. And as I put my head back in, I'm just going to see if I can do anything. Can I maybe try to lift some of this furniture, perhaps?
Yeah. Did you want to try and move some of the furniture away from the entrance? Yeah. Roll a strength check for me.
Okay. Oh, strength is not my strong suit.
17,
17, apparently it is.
So as you kind of move over towards it, you start pulling things away. It seems to be, even though you rolled quite well, you're quite confident in your abilities, but it seems like something is trying to stop you from doing it. So like as you kind of pull it forward, it kind of shunts back again. As you kind of adjust your grip and try and pull, you pull back one of the the shelves that have been toppled over in front of it, and then as you go to kind of push it back, it just falls back again. It's almost like there's something is sucking it in.
Okay. Tarathil keeps trying as he keeps getting frustrated, and he's like, right, I'm going down there, and I would like to cast Magic Miss. Oh, actually, Thunderwave. I'll try Thunderwave to just smash away the furniture. Or actually, no, sorry. I'm going to retcon that again. I'll go Mel's Acid Arrow to try and pierce and smash through the furniture.
Yep.
I shall roll an attack roll for that.
Yes, please.
My card's flown in before me, so it's in the
yep.
room, seeing what's going
on. 17, GM.
So just roll some damage for me.
Okay. 12.
So as you kind of cast this and specters of glowing green energy spit towards the entryway of the staircase leading downwards, and splintered bits of wood kind of cast up back towards you and kind of duck a little bit as it sort of implodes. And then you can see this kind of dark cavern that leads downwards.
Awesome. I dust myself off. Right. That's what I thought. And now I shall wait for the others.
So who is still standing in the room, in the dining room?
Well, Erila would have just crawled beneath all the way through, and then when heard that, turned around, made her way back up, and then eventually popped out.
I haven't even gone into the dining room yet.
Yeah, I was in the doorway talking to him.
All right, so Timoti, are you still in that room?
Yeah.
So as you're kind of standing there and you hear Tarathil kind of calling out, there's this sudden gust of wind as the fireplace kind of roars again and flames kind of lick out towards the ceiling. And everyone in that room can hear whispering as it starts emanating from the fireplace, and you hear, "Save us, save us, save us, save us."
All right, you're being a bit dramatic, aren't you?
Erila sort of pops her head out. Is that one of you?
Not
I
one of
believe
me.
that was the fireplace. Was it coming from the moose as well?
It was not coming from this moose head that you're holding.
I have this moose head.
Too late, moose.
Carrying that everywhere now.
What's that, moose? What did you do? I couldn't burn everyone.
It's like Blue's Clues with the moose. Blue's
Got a chocolate mousse.
And so there'll be a point where Pitch kind of glazes over a second and kind of comes back and goes, well, looks like he has some uses after all. And that's the brim.
Well, I wasn't wrong, was I?
We'll see if you're wrong about anything else.
I will eventually step into the room.
Erila also.
It's out of nowhere.
I'm gonna.
Erila will also cautiously make her way into the other room, following who was it in there? Tarathil?
Yes.
Yeah.
Timoti will slowly make her way into the back room, but as she passes the fireplace, she's going to toss the moose head in.
No, it was me you were meant to save. Whoa.
Save the moose, save the world.
It's like, I don't think this is anything. Chucks it in the fireplace.
The funny thing is, there's not real fire, so it's just just
It's just sitting
Do the whispering stop though. They're
And
just
now,
like,
save
wow.
us, save us, save us.
It's just the feedback now.
White noise.
like a mic being too close to the speaker. Just sounds really hard.
All right,
in the back room.
I guess I'll follow.
I'll wait in the dining room until everyone else goes downstairs.
So just to clarify as well, Tarathil found a pathway down, right? So when we get there, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's almost like things in this room have been like sucked or like pulled down into the stairwell.
Yeah.
And now that this this kind of clearing has been made through that. So it's a little bit narrow to kind of get through. This kind of you're gonna have to do some like, you know, poking and digging unless you actually want to clear it all out. But there is a pathway leading down and it's just black.
I send my card down first to see if I can get past that blackness.
As your consciousness kind of drifts down the stairs, it comes to a room, like a landing at the bottom of the stairs, like a hallway that's just made of stone.
Mm-hmm. But I can see it through the card. Dark vision, good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's actually not. So once you kind of make it around, there's like a corner that you have to pass. So the stairs kind of come down around a corner and they continue further down. Once you make it around that corner, there is light. So it's like there's candles.
Right. Well, the staircase seems a bit scary, but I can see down there.
I would steel yourself if we're going down there. Pitch the furniture. Something was sucking it all into the staircase. I had to blast my way through. I suspect. Unfortunately, Brim is right. I think there is something down there.
Well, he's right about a lot of things, isn't he? She walks.
Okay, great. I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna follow Pitch down. I won't follow right behind them. I'm just muttering, yes, Brim's always right. Yes, turtle.
You're going to make me light my final cigar.
I would hold on to that until after the fat lady has sung.
Is everyone going downstairs?
Licorice.
Yeah. Erla will, again, try to push towards the back. But Brim seems pretty keen to be at the back, so...
Yes.
For some reason, the squishy wizard is at the front.
So
Perfect.
as you make your way downstairs, this hallway is decently lit. However, it's very sparse. It's very warm in this room, speckled with the sound of sizzling and the aromas of food. The hallway in this area has 5 exits. The ones... So the stairway that comes down from the pantry, facing that, there are 2 doorways on the right-hand side, spaced roughly 8 feet apart. There's also an alcove that kind of curves off the left-hand side of this hallway, interrupted by 2 desks before another door on the left appears set in stone.
And is that moss on the ground Erla sees, or a rotting carpet?
It's not rotting, but it's not as fine as the carpets upstairs. It looks like maybe these are like, you know, pretty old, so they've been put down here out of the way of like the general hustle and bustle of the house.
As Erla steps on it, she lets a little moss crawl off of her foot and onto the carpet and leaves it there.
Charon, I think you should pick one of these doors. I think that darkness is following you tonight.
I shoot Brim a look. Tarathil's like, you know, Brim, I swear, this is the last time I'm going to dinner with you. Anywhere, anytime. I promise you.
I feel
Fine.
that is not going to be right.
Curse you, turtle. All right.
Pitch
I'll
looks,
step out.
Pitch looks to Brim and winks.
Don't you two. I'm gonna roll a d5, which doesn't exist. So we go d6, and
You can roll a d10.
I could roll a d10. Let's do that.
I sense it.
Or you could random number generator.
Or you could just pick one.
I got a 7, and that's 3. Yeah,
I think
let's
it's 3.
go.
Yeah.
Door number 3, GM. Tarathu will walk up and try the door.
Which one is door number 3? Is it this one? Is it this one?
The doors are all these ones over here, aren't they?
So we've got one door here,
Uh-huh.
one door here, and one door here. Oh, if it'll let me click there. And then there's also a little alcove here.
Okay. Well, I suppose I shall proceed to the alcove and have a little look-see.
So as you step into this room here, it's a cramped little section of the basement that holds a large fireplace, filling the room with a warm, fiery glow. Nestled into the walls are 2 large sofas. At the end of each sits a simple wooden chair, and in the center of the room there is a small wooden table. There are also 3 doors coming off this room.
Okay. Anything of importance in this room?
So on the table, there are a couple of books and a small candle that's unlit and has never been lit. It's like a brand new candle that sits on that table.
Tarathu will step inside, sword carefully drawn. I think, friends, we are in the right place, but we're now presented with 3 more options. What do you think, Brim?
Follow your heart, my friend.
Is it just me, or is this the fanciest dungeon you've ever seen?
Oh, well, I mean,
What makes you think it's a dungeon?
I don't know. Unkept, beneath the ground. Not much else to it.
You make a good point, though, Errol. It is noticeably well upkept for being something we've never seen before. I mean,
it is simply a basement. There are
perhaps.
no locked doors so far.
Shall we take a door each?
If we do that, we don't stray too far from each other. So far, I think our strength has been together.
At that word, you might notice that Pitch isn't there.
We should stay together, right, Pitch?
The closest door that we went past, and she's like, maybe we should check this door too. And so she's let the book follow you guys, but she's checking that door before we go anywhere further.
Right, so order of events is Pitch opening the door that she has stood in front of before the other doors opened.
She's also got Detect Magic up, so she's kind of keeping an eye out that way. But I feel like while these guys go into this room, it would probably be the same time as she kind of like susses out this door and opens it up and makes sure.
Yep. So what we'll do is we will do the 3 doors that you guys are doing first, and then we'll come back and do the kitchen after. Brim, what are you doing during this? Just so
Standing
I know.
in the hallway.
Standing in the hallway? All
I
right.
am
Watching
keeping an
it
eye
all
on
unfold.
back and forth.
One foot on a banana peel, the other in the grave. Got it.
Wait, who's the banana peel and who's the grave?
Well, that's for you to find out.
Well, Terran is the grave.
Okay,
good.
So who is opening what door?
The doors we're in front of, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so Tarathil, as you open this door, you are greeted with what looks to be a bedroom. The small room is barely larger than a closet, with a cramped double bed, 2 small cupboards, and a fireplace which takes up most of the northern wall. The closet on the western wall is pressed up against the bed, and the room is very warm despite the stone surrounding. So you'd think, kind of deep in the ground in stone, it might be a bit cold, but it's actually pleasantly warm in here.
Okay. I would like to check I suppose, the drawers.
Roll a investigation check for me.
Can do. I got 12.
Perfect. So as you're
Above
kind of like
average.
rustling through the drawers, kind of having a look and pulling things out, you find what looks to be lots of spare like livery, I guess you could call it. So like, spare uniforms, gloves. There's like a pocket watch sitting on one of the shelves in the closet, and you also find a scrap of paper.
Ooh. What does this scrap of paper say? I take it up. And I have a read of that.
So the scrap of paper says, "Aha, a clue. And it's just for you. How clever you are, you little looky-loo. What's it doing in here, all locked away? Perhaps this assassin would like to play. A game of chance, a game of luck, a game to make you look like a schmuck. A game is afoot, or so it would seem. To win this one, you'll need the whole team."
Tarathil chuckles a little nervously and looks behind his back and chuckles again. Right. Someone's playing an actual game with us. We're going to die. And I leave behind that room. Just me. And actually, sorry, I would like to check the wardrobe, the closet as well, if I could.
Make an investigation check for me.
20, not natural.
So as you open this closet door, as you kind of pull it, you notice that the door doesn't open all the way. It kind of gets caught on the back of the bed as you're kind of like trying to pull it. The way that the closet is next to the bed, the door only opens up about that much before it gets resistance. And on the ground, you can see there are scrape marks where that door has been opened and closed many, many times. That kind of has that curve. In the closet, you see different types of leather shoes that have all been polished to absolute perfection. You also see, white gloves and also a variety of day wear. So kind of common folk clothes.
Are they, is there a specific gender to these clothes? Just out of curiosity.
They'll probably be more masculine. I'd say lots of trousers and like button-up shirts.
Okay. Interesting. So nothing of importance in the closet. Can I search through any of the clothes and see what I could maybe find?
Yeah, so as you kind of search through, there are, different types of trousers. They look kind of rough, but have been sewn up and mended to keep their, pristineness. If there's a tear, you can see where it's been carefully mended. Different types of button-up shirts, some tunics, a vest or two, some jackets. Nothing stands out to you as abnormal. I guess it just looks like the closet of probably a man or someone who likes to wear masculine clothes. Roughly like a medium size, maybe.
Okay. Tarathil is satisfied. He takes his note and he leaves the room. And awaits his friends.
So the other two, as you are opening your doors, you're both greeted with a very similar sight in here. So you have two rooms. They're both rather cramped as well and are a little too warm for comfort. So as you kind of step in, you can almost feel the sweat starting to build up on your skin. Very warm. Kind of get the sense that having a fireplace in a room this small is going to cause a lot of heat, especially in a stone room. The beds are very simple, made of straw with sheepskin, but look comfortable enough to get rest in.
I'm going to investigate everything.
As will I.
All right, roll a general investigation check for me, please, both of you.
That's gone.
17.
13, I believe. Let me just double check. Investigate. Not the other way. 11.
So looking around the room, you, Timoti, find 6 pieces of silver as you kind of rifle through the drawers and the bedside table and kind of pulling things out. But essentially, all you find are just general clothing, a couple of different pairs of shoes. Some of the clothes in these rooms are more feminine. I guess so. You find a couple of bonnets, some long sleeve blouses, some long skirts and contents like that, general day wear, along with what you would assume would be a uniform of some kind. So like a servant's garb.
Interesting. And I'm just gonna step out.
Pitch. So as you open the door to this room, a very strong smell hits you as you enter, and it's the smell of cooking food, essentially. So the room is alive with flickering lights and the smell of roasting meat. In the room stands 2 figures that have their backs to you. They're standing over the 2 stoves. They are currently here. Oh, it'll let me. Nope. So standing here and here. They're standing with their backs to you.
Yep.
On the southern wall of the room. They aren't speaking, but they're hurriedly kind of passing things back and forth between them, pots, pans, grabbing ingredients from the shelves and kind of putting them into the pots that they're cooking with. The large tables in the center of the room are laden with various different types of meats, vegetables, large gravy boats, platters of cheese, bread. It looks like it's meals fit for a gathering, like the one you had upstairs. And the room is capped at the far end with 2 large fireplaces, which are both bolstering pots within that are steaming and making the room kind of both hot and sticky at the same time as kind of condensation builds up and you can kind of smell it might be like a stew or something like that.
Okay, so Pitch gets Brim's attention, and once she gets Brim's attention, she walks in.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go through the door when he does that, or she does that, so I can see what's going on too. But I'm not going.
No, I'm being the guinea pig. So she walks in. I think she gets about there. So there's 3 tables. There's the far left one. She's about 10 feet away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's familiar with trickery, so she's looking and expecting the trickery.
Mm-hmm.
10 feet, still the same thing.
Yep.
Okay. She steals herself. She goes, and she walks around the table, so to her right, she walks around the table, and then she goes, "Hello, are you the only ones down here?"
So as you speak, one of the figures turns around and looks at you. And as she does, you can kind of see she's dressed in a general maid garb, her hair done up. And as she turns and looks towards you, she doesn't have a face. So as she's standing there looking at you, what you would assume to be expectantly, there is nothing there. You can see divots and shadows where the eyes would be, the mouth would be, the nose would be. Just kind of staring.
Oh, good. Right.
Close the door and walk away.
Thanks, dear. Thank you so much.
Guys, I sense there's something. I sense there's something in the other room.
This is the same pitch as your squeaks.
Fucking worst seer ever.
And so she goes, right, who's first?
They both just kind of look over into the direction of the others, and one of them's like,
Oh, are you not going to rush me? Oh, okay. Let's have a proper conversation then. Hi.
Master of diplomacy, bitch.
Oh well, good guy.
I love it.
Oh, okay. Are you the regular cooks down here? Right. Is this meant to happen? You know that Ivy's passed, right? Okay. I'm not sure what to ask you at this point because I was expecting a fight. 1 second. She walks out the door. She goes, so apparently these are the staff.
Oh. I mean,
Not what you
That's-
expected, was it?
a bit strange.
Right, yeah.
Oh well.
And she walks back in and she goes, have you two been working for this manor for long? Are we talking a really long time? Did you kind of pass while doing your job? I'm really making so many assumptions about you. I'm sorry. and,
Guess they don't have a face.
and actually, so what Pitch is going to do is she's going to walk over the closer side of the tables, and while she's talking, she's going to still be as casual as she's being, but she's going to just like touch the food, touch a few things, kind of really see what's here and what's not.
Make a general investigation check for me, just kind of for this corner of the room.
Yes, please. Investigation is maths is 26.
There doesn't seem to be anything in this room that would strike you as unordinary, except for the two people standing in it. They have no faces, but other than that, they seem to be humans. And the things in the room, so kind of looking at the tables and the silverware and kind of, knocking one of the platters and things like that, it all seems to just be what you would expect it to be.
Yeah, pretty kosher. Were you a part of the murder mystery tonight? Was there anything that you were supposed to give a clue about? Right. Okay. And then so there's what's in this room? So there's these 3 drawers, I assume, or cupboards or anything like that across the western wall. Can I kind of just like go over towards them and open them up, just see what's going on in them?
Yeah. So as you kind of move over towards them, the 2 figures kind of like look towards each other, and then one of them gestures upstairs. They kind of have this little silent conversation between them. And then they both start moving out of the room as you're doing that. So they kind of move out behind you and start walking over towards the doorway. As you're opening the door to the cupboards, are you kind of rifling through them? Are you just looking to see like what's in there? What's the general?
I'm not being silly about it. I'm just like opening it up, kind of like I might open a couple of drawers, but I'm not doing like a police raid, kind of like throwing everything around.
Yeah, make a perception check for me.
I will use this one. Natural 20.
Nice.
But it's cocked, so I'm like, oh no.
Oh, that's okay. If it's got a face that's facing up, then you're all good.
Yeah.
So as you're kind of opening these up, so as you're kind of opening the doors up, you can see that these cupboards are mainly used for preserves. So you've got things like jams, you've got things like pickles, pickled onions, pickled radishes, and pickled ears, pickled eyes, kind of swimming in a jar. That's sitting on one of the shelves.
Can I tell what being these ears and eyes are from?
Make a general medicine check for me.
Oh, that's not this character at all. That is another nat 20.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
And this one was a full one. I'm taking a picture of this one just to.
Then you have 9 lives.
Yeah, well, I don't want to.
So looking at this jar that's full, it's kind of they're kind of moving in here, and you can tell they seem to be humanoid. So there are ears, there are eyes, and there are also mouths, kind of just sitting in this big jar, probably like a gallon. Like it's a big jar.
Can I tell how many sets there are?
Looking at them, probably maybe like 7 or 8 sets of each.
Sets of ears, eyes, and mouth. Well, I guess I'll ask that question later. And I close the door. And so was that just one cupboard, or was that all three searching?
That was through all 3. So there are lots of different jars of like preserves, like pickles, onions, radishes, carrots, that sort of stuff. And then as you open the last one, it's like, oh,
eyes, ears, and mouth and nose. Okay, no noses, no, just eyes, ears, mouths. I wonder why no noses. She walks out the room.
No one knows.
Have the two, yeah.
It's been fun, Tom. Thanks. I gotta go.
Everything as usual.
Can we kill Tom now?
Or are they just standing where they are on roll 20?
Yeah. So at this point, so Brim, you would have seen these two kind of walking past and walking up the stairs before both disappearing.
Also, the book would have followed them up.
Well, that's rather creepy. Brim's. Maybe she's dead. Oh well. Guys!
Yes.
The 2 investigators are just like, oh well.
Yeah.
What's
I
up?
guess we come running, yeah.
So there were some individuals with no faces that just, oh, there she is. Never mind, she's alive. She is perfectly fine.
Sorry.
asking.
What did you just say, Brim?
Would you like to introduce your new friends?
I'm not sure I can. They're upstairs already.
Yes, I saw that.
The cooks here, they don't have a face. But apparently they're the actual cooks.
As in, they... nothing? At all?
I actually wanted to ask this question about this. Did it look like they were surgically sewn, or did it just look like Play-Doh, no gaps of eyes, mouth, or anything like that?
Yeah, so you can see the indentations where they should have been, but it doesn't look like it's surgically done. So it's just kind of like the shadows and divots of like where the mouth should be and where the eyes should be and where the nose should be, but there's no actual like...
Did I see them have ears?
No.
They didn't have ears, or I didn't see them?
They didn't have ears because their hair was in a bun, so you would have seen as they kind of turned. They didn't have ears, but they did have holes.
Yeah. I think their faces were in jars.
I don't
Don't
even
have to
know
be a
how
psychic to say that that's bullshit. Why are you laughing?
Me
This is
saying that
very
their
serious.
faces were in jars.
Tarathil looks completely mortified. This is insane. You're saying they don't have faces and their faces are in jars? Even by arcane standards, that's impossible.
Darling, I can change myself into a shark. There's lots of things that are impossible in this world that are possible.
Well, I can cast magic too, but to remove one's face and not,
It just means that they were very skilled.
I doubt it was them who removed their faces.
Did you guys find anything in those rooms?
Oh, actually, I did, and I produced the note, and yeah, I showed the group. It's some sort of riddle. There is an assassin amongst the keep. It appears to be toying with us.
Is this not just a clue from the original game?
Have I not been saying it's a game all along?
I think both what Erila says and Timoti, I think are both correct. I think the original game, something has gone wrong here. I think this is a clue. Just failing to understand that all of this hasn't happened for a reason, that it wasn't premeditated.
Maybe we need to solve the original mystery to find out who was involved.
Well, it's better than standing around. Erila pulls out her war pick, looks down at it, and casts elemental weapon as it begins to glow slightly with a greenish glow, and slight drips of acid trickle from it. And then she immediately follows that up with a casting of light, causing it to glow. Well, I think I'm ready for whatever we're going to encounter, so shall we proceed?
Yes.
On that note, I'll also cast shield on myself as well.
Sorry, shield or like shield of faith, because shield is just a reaction.
Oh, is it? Sorry? I apologize.
How dare you upset the balance of nature!
It's a
Also,
reaction,
if you
so
guys
sorry.
wanted to, this might be a good chance if you guys want to go fill up drinks or go to the bathroom or anything like that, because we've been playing for 3 hours now. So if we wanted to have a quick...
That would be
Yeah,
lovely.
sounds good.
Yes, yeah, for
Sure.
sure.